And welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka The Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part, so make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Guys, if you'd like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official merch. We even got rugs. You can get a rug so you can walk all over me, because you know you can't do that here, only at TheIndianJesus.com. Guys, we do also have a Discord server that is absolutely free to join 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. I definitely suggest you come and join us. And like I said, it is absolutely free. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can just scroll right below the video here, hit that join button. There's a few different tiers here, but it starts at just $2.99. It gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it also opens up the full Discord server, guys. So that includes the free channel, but also a bunch of other free channels, or not a bunch of other channels that are not free, including the voice channel. So as soon as we are done here, we are going over there for an after party where we don't have to worry about any YouTube censors, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It's a good time. Definitely come and join us. Shout out to Indie Film, first in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Nick Luchetti. Good to see you. Good to see you. And our boy King Nirvana. Welcome, 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 guys. Very good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as you probably heard, Donald Trump has picked a new FBI director, and his name is Kash Patel. So to be honest, I don't really know a lot about this guy, but every single person that seemingly every single person that I respect seems to have loved this pick. So I want to get the most recent podcast that he did before the pick. So we're going about 4 weeks ago. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Derek Wolfe, the former NFL player. I wasn't, but apparently he has a podcast and had Kash on. So very, very, very interested to see what is good with the FBI and where is it going to go. So as always, guys, you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wolf Untamed. Today, we got a really special guest, Kash Patel. He was the former chief of staff to the Secretary of Defense under the Trump administration. And I can't wait for you to hear what he's got to say. Let's get after it, man. Kash, I'm so excited, man. It's such an honor to have you on because...
It's my honor, man. This is exciting for me. However long you want, you go. We cleared the schedule.
There you go. Well, I tried to get him. There you go. There you go. Our boy. And shout out to Quam Tag. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said I don't know ish about Mr. Patel, but get him, Kash. Yep, I'm right there with you. I don't know exactly what's good, but like I said, so many people are down with it. So let's see what they got.
It's my honor, man. This is exciting for me. However long you want, you go. We cleared the schedule.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the time, man, because there's so much I want to talk about. And I want to talk about your life because you've had such an impressive, like your resume is so impressive to me. It's there's the people out there that, I played football, right? So people are like, oh, that's so impressive. But I'm like, I just did one thing, right? There's just that one thing I focused on. And
you did it really well, man.
Thank you. Thank you. But
also, even if you didn't do it that well, you were still in the NFL. How many people in the history of forever have been in the NFL? Like a decent amount, but not a lot.
But I focused on, I was good at it. You were able to deputy assistant to the president. I mean,
yeah, I drank a lot of PBR.
I mean, like the things that are on your resume
to that
are incredible. So let's just start from the beginning, where you grew up. And let's just go through your life.
Who are you?
Point now, and then we'll start talking about some of the issues that are going on in the world today. We'll try to keep this at 90 minutes, but if we go over, we go over. It's just I want to have an open conversation. So
I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you being brave enough to get out there.
What is happening with my button? There was there was a different podcast with I forget his name, Sean Michael. I don't know. We covered him one time with an FBI guy, and it was a little bit more in the weeds. So I'm sure that there's going to be more Kash Patel stuff in the future, but this is definitely just an introductory type of thing because I don't know who he is.
there. I know it's not easy, especially in Colorado, and you're taking a lot of shots, and I know the boss is appreciative.
It's been tough since 2016 when he first announced that he was running. I was immediately supportive of it, and I was immediately attacked as a racist. And
Look at
I was
this.
walking around with a MAGA hat on in the facility, and they're like, "Hey, you probably shouldn't wear that." And I'm like, "Why?"
Why?
Look how he's swagged out. He's got his own Cash hoodie. He's got the "Don't Tread on Me" patch. He's got his MAGA hat. I'm with it.
Make America great again. Who would have thought saying "Make your country great"
is racist,
controversial, or racist? It's insane. But yeah, man. Let's start with you.
You want us to roll into it?
Yeah, let's just roll into it. Let's grow up.
Yeah, man. Look, it's great to be with you. Appreciate you having me on. This really shows us that President Trump's outreach to like not just politicals is working. I mean, look at me. You're talking from a kid who's the son of lawful immigrants who fled a genocidal dictatorship in East Africa.
I was gonna say me too, but my parents didn't do all that. They're just immigrants.
And now he's on a show with a Super Bowl champion. It's freaking awesome. And it's badass. And that can only happen in America. I'm serious. Like, where else does that even remotely pop? Like, I told my buddies I was on your show. They're like, there's no way you know that guy. He's way too good. and I was like,
one day they will say that about dear old life.
No, I swear I'm doing a show. But no, look, I grew up like, any immigrant kid, just public schools, focus on education, and best laid plans. If you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plan. So I wanted to be that guy in suits. I went to law school. I wanted to make $1 zillion. And of course, no one would hire me. My grades sucked. I was like the only dumb Indian you'll ever meet. And and then I went to.
Yeah. And it's especially crazy to call it racist when we're such a diverse country. Imagine that. And that's how you know that they don't actually mean the words that they say. They're just trying to whatever sticks. Oh, racism is bad, so let's just call anything bad racism. That's the game.
Law school and was okay at trial work. Became a public defender of all things in Miami. So like paid for law school, still paying that one off. And I got lucky. I got training in investigations and trying cases and being up in front of audiences and stuff like that. Folded that into becoming a terrorism prosecutor, which was really cool, which brought me into all the DC national security space. And then I went over.
So, I mean, he's saying he's still got a bunch of student debt. So at least he's not some, super rich out of touch guy. Not that being rich automatically makes you out of touch, but it certainly helps.
To become a civilian at JSOC, which is Joint Special Operations Command. So SEAL Team 6 in Delta, basically helping them kill bad guys. Pretty cool job. And then that whole Russiagate thing happened and not planned, but I met Devin Nunes and he's like, yo, you got to run this investigation. And I was like, I really don't want to do that. I really want to keep going on the counterterrorism, national security thing. He's like, you do this, we'll put you in the White House running counterterrorism for Trump. And that's basically what happened. But neither of us saw that Russiagate thing exploding into the Medusa that it was.
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in like what stuff he's done more recently because I've heard his name floated around a lot, but again, it's just never been something that I've particularly looked into.
The outline and corruption. And so that got me into Trump world, into the White House, and sort of just kept going from there. Became Deputy Director of National Intelligence, and then ultimately Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense. Which is wild to say I had 3 million employees in a $750 billion budget, but they ran out of people to put there. So the boss was like, you're going.
That's a huge budget, man. Yeah, that blows my mind.
A lot, man.
Is that over?
I mean, for the U.S. government, not that huge, but it's pretty huge.
Does it ever feel overwhelming?
It does when you leave the building, but as soon as you walk back in, you look around and you're just like, look at all these warriors, just suiting up every day. So you're like, you got to do it for these guys. And that's it. And that's like all the motivation you needed. And we were able to, I think we flew like 65,000 miles in 90 days because the president was like, we're ending the forever wars, but ask the soldiers on the ground. Don't ask the generals. Ask the guys on the ground because they've buried their brothers and sisters in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Somalia. So we did. And you want to know the answer that every single soldier gave? Get us out of here. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
What is going on with my pause button? Is that surprising? Is that surprising at all that people fighting in wars don't want to fight in wars?
That's kind of all of the veterans that I've talked to a ton of tier 1 operators and Delta guys. And that's kind of they're all like, hey man, like we were in there way too long. They felt like they could have accomplished their mission and their goal and
10 times
a lot
over.
quicker than what had happened. Do you think that's because the military industrial complex they got to feed that? Like they're keeping that, they kept that going.
You got a month.
I know, right?
So it's one of the things that Eisenhower warned about in the 60s. He's like, if you, for those that don't know, the US government can only make and produce so much stuff, especially in the defense space. And that's where companies like Boeing and Lockheed and Huntington Ingalls and all these, and look, they do a lot of good things. Don't get me wrong, Elon Musk, SpaceX. But when you let that behemoth become bigger than the government, which it is, they own government. So they own government contracting. You need to sell ketchup packets to somebody in Afghanistan. You're going to go to your buddy and overcharge and sell them poor ketchup. And that's just a example of what DOD has to work on, not just the no-fail mission.
And I was just about to say that like that's just one area. That's just one department. And he might be just talking about one specific mission. And that that applies to the entire government.
And now you've seen the waste. You see Ukraine, and you see an inspector general's report from the Department of Defense saying we lost, not we can't find. We lost $1 billion that we just gave to the Ukraine. That was just one example from one distribution to Ukraine. How does the DOD lose money? Not like light it on fire, like they can't find it. They don't know where it went. And that's just one of the big fixes I talk about in my book.
I mean, that's not that surprising. I mean, I'm sure most of you have change in your couch cushions, right? Like it's a different level of it's the same concept when they're just giving money out and printing money like crazy. Yeah, some of it's going to get lost because they're not paying attention to every dime. Shout out to Carl. Welcome. Talking about our poll. Our running poll: is the Hunter Biden pardon a bad thing? Yes or no? Let me know what you think. And I'm not thrilled about the Hunter Biden pardon, but I was expecting Trump to do this. Joe Biden doing it saves Trump from making that mistake and also makes Democrats look horrible. It's a win-win. Interesting, because I think there was a lot of talk about pardoning specific crimes and then letting other ones go through the courts because they have standing or merit or whatever the proper word is. I know that there's legalese and stuff, but I mean, like, is there substance to the case? And then if it had gone through, a specific part of it would have been about self-incrimination on firearm license and all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't know how and the funniest thing about it is that you see all the liberals being like, oh, now you think pardoning is a bad thing? I thought you guys said the Department of Justice and all that stuff was corrupt. Like, yeah, exactly. So you agree. We were right the whole time. Nuh-uh. Okay. All right. Welcome to the party. Let's dive back in here.
Find it. They don't know where it went. And, that's just one of the big fixes I talk about in my book, Government Gangsters, is like these people that are running DC in the DOD industrial complex or wherever else are literally making and profiteering off war. And they've turned the war machine on. I mean, the Bushes, the Cheneys, you've seen what they've done. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons they hate Trump. And we're not saying don't fulfill the no-fail mission. We're saying just don't have it be wasteful. And
does anyone know what he means by the no-fill mission? What does that mean? No-fill mission. I've never heard that before. No-fill mission. What does that mean? Okay. We're going to Fortnite answers. Okay. Well, this is clearly not what. Or is he saying no? Yeah, this is no fill. What? Somebody, one of you guys got to know what the hell that means.
They hate that in Washington because they're like, wait a second, this guy.
Everything back from what was it, 2004 or something like that? Crazy.
Our bankroll, but that's what a president's supposed to do.
Yeah, it is sickening to watch, because at the end of the day, our tax dollars are funding the federal government. The federal government is funding these war machines, and that's what makes you sick, because then when you see your own country suffer, we're suffering in this country. And then you see them wastefully lose $1 billion or $80 million a week going to the Taliban, things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say $1 billion would be bad, but it's way worse.
I thought the Taliban was the enemy. What? You've been telling me since I was 11 years old that's the enemy. And now I hear, as an adult who's been paying half of his paycheck to the federal government, and you're telling me, oh, hey, by the way, we're sending $80 million a week to the Taliban. And two of those people accepting money are Osama bin Laden's kids. It's like, what? Well, what do you mean?
It's a messed up world when you go down the rabbit hole, right?
It's all one big family. It's all one big family. And Cash, that's what we need you to break up.
You know, the Taliban was and is the controlling faction of the government in Afghanistan. So if you want peace there, you got to deal with them. But at the end of the day, as you said, there are, of course, terrorist members in the Taliban. But we could not ever designate the Taliban a foreign terrorist organization, because if we did that, we couldn't give them any money. You know, so it's like this two-edged sword. You're like, wait a second, who am I giving money to? And then when you look at the whole Afghan disaster, 20 years in, the treacherous withdrawal by Biden and Harris, and we literally flew the former president of Afghanistan out of there. I don't know if you know this, on our helicopters that we gave him, with literal tons of American cash that he left and evacuated his own country and went to the Middle East and is now living like a king somewhere.
Of course. It's all, and that's in general, just people at the top always escape accountability and consequences. I agree with Nick. I don't know if you're a veteran, and I don't know how there's not a larger coalition of veterans being anti-war in the political space. I would think that would be such a huge block of people who like, I went to war, I served, I love this country, and I don't want to be doing that. There's got to be so many people in that group. I'm maybe I just miss it, but I don't see it as much as I would expect to.
I mean, that's what we're seeing happen again in the Ukraine. And these are the things that tick people off, because we didn't have more than 4 years of Trump going after it. We had presidents who funded that war to the hilt. And what they cared about was, actually, I don't know what they cared about except expanding the defense industrial complex, because if they cared about peace, they could have ended that war like Trump did. But
yep. Shout out to Matthew King. Welcome. I said, I feel now that Hunter's been pardoned completely, I'm hoping we can get testimony of all the shady stuff he and the big guy did. I heard somewhere that him being pardoned means that if he ever is testifying for stuff like that, that he can't plead the fifth. Is that a thing? Because that would be interesting. Discovery is a bitch.
We was industrial complex, because if they cared about peace, they could have ended that war like Trump did. But we wasted so much money, not just there, but if you look at all the other theaters of conflict we were in.
Yeah, and it's funny because every time, even on like the Joe Rogan podcast with Trump, he's like, well, how would you have stopped that? And how did you? He showed you. You go in there, you get the job done, and you leave. It's
not rocket.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. Sounds like a plan, right? Go in, do the job, and get out. Carl said, from what I understand, Hunter had 4 hours left on his pardon where he could do anything and not be responsible. He could have unalived someone legally for 4 hours. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, I guess let's just be grateful that it didn't happen. I mean, welcome to 2024. I mean, it's December, so you know what I mean.
Rocket science. Look, you don't have to be in government to figure this out. You show up and you're like, either you safeguard your citizenry, or we're going to blow you to hell.
It's almost like the people in the government don't want to help.
Or we're going to suffocate you financially, or we're going to do a combination of the two things. I mean, there's a reason the Afghan leadership, including the Taliban and other individuals who kidnapped American citizens.
Okay, there we go. So if you can't use the fifth, then get him on the stand for something, for any reason, and get him high first. He'll open the door to whatever, and we're good.
Sat down with Donald Trump's diplomatic vision to secure a peaceful Afghanistan, because behind that was a mechanism in the Department of Defense that they knew, if unleashed, would end their way of life. And you never want to do that. And it's okay, though, to have that kind of threat of force so that you can have space for diplomacy. And that's what Trump created.
Yep. Look, we could destroy you, but come to the table. Let's talk. That's the way that politics has to be done.
Created the two sides sitting down in the Middle East, talking without deadlines, without any fictitious end states, just saying, get these things done along the way. And as you do, we'll open up our trade. We'll open up our economy. And as you do, we'll let you buy stuff from the Europeans and the Americans. But if you don't, we won't. And if you really screw up and kill one of ours, as President Trump said, I mean, that's I think everyone remembers this. He showed Abdullah a picture of his house, you know, and it was like, look, that's pretty gangster. And, you know, but that guy knew that Trump wasn't doing that as just like a, you know, photo op. He was like,
right,
this guy's pretty serious about bringing peace over there. And that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how, like, we all saw how that played out. And nobody thought, oh, let's try that, because they knew they would not be. Nobody else has that type of gravitas. Nobody else would be able to do that. I mean, not necessarily nobody, but I mean, nobody that we know of in the political landscape would be able to pull off something like that. Shout out to Behave. Welcome to the party. So the one good thing about Hunter being pardoned is they can't say shit about Trump freeing the J6ers. That's also a benefit there, that like, hey, if you're going to pardon, we're going to pardon. And of course, they will still say everything they want to say, but it gives us a little insulation. Good point. Welcome.
I think that the entire world saw that he's not about profiting off a war. Like, that's like the last thing he wants to do. He wants to keep peace. He wants everybody to be prosperous, and he wants there to be a respect between him and other world leaders. For anybody to say that it's wrong for him to, like, because when he talks about, you know, Xi Jinping and Putin and everything, people are like, oh, look, he said about
they're best friends. Are they though? Come on.
Don't you think that they should have a good relationship? Isn't it important for world leaders to have a relationship that's like open and they can actually have a conversation, rather than they're just because right now it's obvious that none of these world leaders respect the American leadership. It's obvious.
There's nothing. You're totally right. I mean, you have to have a relationship with your adversaries, or even if you want to call them your enemies, you have to be able to pick up the phone and say, this has gone far enough. No more rockets, Rocket Man in North Korea. You got to be able to call Xi Jinping and say, stop manipulating your currency, because if you don't, we're going to triple the tariff on your products coming into the United States of America. You got to be able to call the Putins of the world, who has the largest nuclear arsenal outside of America, and say, yo, we are not going to war and you are not invading the Ukraine.
And again, these things aren't like massively like, whoa, that's a crazy idea. I never thought of that. But remember, this is now going to be the director of the FBI. So for him to be just saying things that we're like, we talk about all the time. That is huge. That is huge. You're not getting that from what's his name, Christopher Wray or whatever the hell his name was. You're not getting talk like this.
Oh, we are not going to war and you are not invading the Ukraine. I mean, just think about the power of someone who's in the position of the Oval Office to effectuate that call and say, we're standing up for global peace. And now the mainstream media wants to attack Trump for having the audacity to have a relationship with these guys and avert another world war. I mean,
it's almost like they want another world war.
These people are the biggest hypocrites in Washington, D.C. And what they see is, as you alluded to, their nest egg, their contracts being taken away because Trump is saying, we're not going to another war. And when you do that, you turn off the defense industrial complex and you take off a whole lot of people like the Cheneys and the Bushes in Washington, D.C. and their big pariah network that.
I wonder if that has anything to do. Hear me out. You know how Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala? I wonder.
That has leached onto the American taxpayer dollar and funded these wars. And it's kind of ironic to me, you know, especially as like a conservative American guy, that Donald Trump, a former Democrat turned Republican, essentially, is the guy that is bringing world peace. And now the Democrats hate him for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that brings this thing full circle.
Yeah, exactly what Behave is saying. The left has sold their souls to the military complex, the rhinos too. I mean, the rhinos have been there. And the neocons, I guess, for not the neolibs for a while. But yeah, it seems that's why there has been this path for MAGA. because the two parties are so far apart on some things and together on all the worst things that it's like, oh, we can just slip right in there, and it's working. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because we were at war for so long that the Democratic Party, the people in there, they just realized like, oh, I could just make money in the war machine. So they just conformed to that. So now instead of being like because they were always supposed to be like the peace and love and the tolerant, side, but now they've turned in, they are fascist. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about one.
And of course, no stupid wars. Like, obviously, if somebody comes and like invades America, which I would not suggest it, but like that is not a stupid war. But most of them are.
One of my favorite sponsors, Juniper Mountain Coffee. Coffee without compromise.
Go get some coffee.
You're getting high quality coffee without the high prices. This is an American company that stands behind their values. They stand behind their coffee. These guys make some of the best coffee I've ever had. It's a coffee I drink every morning. Juniper Mountain Coffee works directly with the farmers,
decaf,
paying fair wages, and that way you have no middleman, no BS, no garbage. You're getting high quality products. So go check them out at junipermountaincoffee.com. All right, Cash. So let's go back to where'd you go to school? College?
I went to University of Richmond, then went back to New York to a really bad law school. Graduated the bottom third of my class, and kept on to the dream that I was going to play in the NHL one day, but that failed.
So you're a hockey player?
I still am. I still play. I've been playing since I was 6. Yeah, I love it. It's the best. It's the only thing that keeps me sane, man. On Sunday nights when I was in the administration, even the boss was like, "Where the hell's Cash?" And I'm like, "Look, I told you, Sunday nights are for beer, hockey, and God. I get 90 minutes. I'm going to be on the sheet playing in the beer league, having a PBR, and then I'll return your phone call." Obviously,
that's badass. I like that. And again, it's a matter of, hey, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is what I do. And by being me, I'm going to give you the best result. That's how it needs to be. I'll drink it. Like, I don't really drink coffee like that in general, but like if I'm out and we're having dinner, or like on Thanksgiving everybody was having coffee with dessert and stuff, I'll have a decaf, but not a super big part of my life. If you want some classic Indian story, dreaming of being a pro NHL player. Hey, I mean, my household was a very heavy NHL household, and it wasn't because of my parents. So we were all big into hockey. It's not as crazy that brown people like the same things as white people. Shout out to Tech. Thank you. So I got to pay out so I can support the Swole stream. There we go. That's our first one, guys. I pulled the donations down, so it's only $2 to donate to the Swole stream account, and that is our first one. Thank you. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you, sir. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host Morty. It's raining, so he is not feeling well, so he will definitely appreciate more treats. Thank you very, very much, sir. Come on.
Be on the sheet playing in the beer league, having a PBR, and then I'll return your phone call. Obviously, I'm kidding, but it was funny. He was like, he'd be like, "Okay, I know where he is. He's playing hockey." It was my one out.
Yeah, that was your 90 minutes. I get it, dude. It's like your church, right? That's how the weight room always was for me. The gym was always like my sanctuary. It still is. You graduate from Richmond, you go to law school.
He said, what did he say? Beer's something and God. I'm surprised that when Wolf said, "That's your church," that he wasn't like, "Well, no, God is my church and Christianity is all." Like, see, we can just talk like normal people.
My sanctuary. It still is. You graduate from Richmond, you go to law school, you get out of law school. What was your first? You did some public defending first, probably?
Public defender in Miami, which was crazy. And then I ended up liking the court work and the investigations and just the challenge. And you make no money, but it was fun. And then that sort of flipped into a federal level job doing the same.
But how did that happen though? How did you just jump? Like, did you meet the right person? Like, what?
Good interview skills right there. Like, okay, you kind of skipped over the question there, bro. That's what we want to know.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I was down there for a while, like doing that job at the county for 4 years, and then with the feds for another almost 4 years. And then randomly, my boss was married to the head of counterterrorism at DOJ, and I basically struck up a relationship and was like, "Hey, that sounds cool."
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Can I go prosecute terrorists? And then that's literally that's how that happened.
And what was that like to prosecute terrorists? Like, what was that?
What is going on with this freaking button? But yeah, that's all it takes, guys. Just go, hey, can I go prosecute terrorists? Sure.
Can you just walk me through like the dummies, the dummy version? Just dumb it down for me. What it's like to prosecute terrorists.
So that's another thing there that I am going to be looking at, that Kash Patel is so far not really reading what it is that we're trying to extract from him. That's something that I'm noticing right now. Shout out to Equality and Deverance because Vagina over on Rumble. Welcome to the slightly lazy eye is fucking with me. You guys are like any little thing. Can we listen to the man's words, please? Welcome to the party.
The dummies, the dummy version. Just dumb it down for me. What it's like to prosecute terrorists.
It was great because I was coming out of JSOC where we were, racking stacking bad guys for SEAL Teams.
I think his face is just not symmetrical. It's not a lazy eye. Both of those are focused at the same spot. A lazy eye is when you have one this way and one that way.
To kill and actually eliminate. And so this was another option. This was a righteous way to go out and bring someone back who had killed American citizens. And unfortunately, there was a lot of those. So it was pretty awesome to see like the power of the American government actually put to work for like a apolitical singular mission to go out and bring families some measure of peace who lost a loved one because some terrorist blew up their kid or kidnapped them or raped them or something terrible like that.
Crazy. Hey, shout out to Nick Lou Ketty with another donation. Thank you. Said can't let Guantech do it alone. That's right, guys. The Swole Stream team. We gotta come together. Thank you. And that makes you the new co-sponsor of the stream. Thank you very, very much, guys.
Who lost a loved one because some terrorist blew up their kid or kidnapped them or raped them or something terrible like that. And so when it was an option and when it was feasible, things like going in and getting some of the guys that did Benghazi, not all of them, because that's always unfortunately gets political, but on lesser known operations, we were able to bring folks that were planning to blow up shopping malls in Texas and take out the state capitol in California and just, stop that from happening. So it was pretty.
I don't know. Do you guys like, I'm not, Equality's doubling down saying they're off. I'm telling you something ain't right. I mean, I see a little like this one's a little squintier, but it looks like his face is just not very symmetrical. Like his face is more like there's more face on this side. His face is kind of scrunched up a little bit like that. I don't think it's his eyes. I think it's just the shape of his face. What do you guys think? Lazy eye or no lazy eye? Oh, you always cooking, son. You always cooking, right? Let me get some of that.
It was pretty great. You just saw the intel community, law enforcement community come together and just say, this is all we care about. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. What would you say what was the worst case that you tried? Like what was like the worst?
See, a better way to answer when people ask questions like this, like let's say you're, a cop, you're a veteran, you're something where your job is craziness. When you ask this question, it's instead of asking what's the worst thing or what's the craziest thing, you'll get a better answer if you ask what is one example of a situation, a story, a case, or whatever it is that stuck with you. You may not get the worst, craziest one, but you'll get a better answer because the person being interviewed, the person being asked, isn't going to be looking for, okay, what are you going to see is, oh, that's crazy. You're asking specifically, okay, what do I care about? I would have asked that slightly differently, just nitpicking, but you can see that he's struggling to answer it because he's like, I don't know. But I guarantee you, there's ones that are close to him that may not be that crazy, but he'll have a story behind them.
case that you tried? You know, like what was like the worst? Can you like just pinpoint like the worst one? That was like the most, like as far as like he was like, this guy is pure evil.
Oh man.
Because I mean, he like if I imagine if you're in that line of work to be like, there's so many. What do you consider the worst?
All of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all evil.
Yeah,
right?
it's hard because the worst ones end up not being. I mean, it's hard to say what's worse because you don't want to like try to compare them because everyone.
I'm just talking about one that's stuck with you. The one that.
There you go. There you go. He got there eventually. Yeah. Something. What was that? What was profound to you? What's one that stuck with you? What's one that you think defined your career? What's one that helps you decide on more difficult or something like that? That is the idea is closer to you, not wow me. Because when you say, "What's the worst thing you've ever seen?" Then you're just saying, wow me with some crazy shit, which, is not a terrible question, but it's certainly not as, is not going to get as revealing of an answer as what is most profound to you, what is something that stuck with you, something like that. But he got there.
Try to compare them because everyone.
His name is Derek, right? Do we have any football fans? Derek Wolfe? Oh, God, Derek Wolfe. Yeah. Oh, come on. God damn it. Derek Wolfe. He was a defensive end for Broncos. The Broncos and the Broncos. Broncos long back. Thank you. All right, moving back.
I mean, it's hard to say what's worse because you don't want to like, try to compare them because everyone.
I'm just talking about one that stuck with you. The one that stuck with you that like, that sticks with you, that you're like, man, I'm glad we got that guy.
It was actually one that we prevented. That's the one that sticks with me. This guy was tied.
There you go. And what did he? Well, okay. He said it, but sticks with me.
To one of the top Syrian bomb makers in the world. And he was training him in America. And we found out he was training him to blow up the shopping mall in Houston and to literally blow up the state capitol in Sacramento.
Jesus.
And we were able to rope in a source and feed in there and basically not only shut it down, but roll them up and put them away. And so I think that one.
No, nobody else has a comment on whether he's got a lazy eye or not.
Sticks with me because it was a preventative, righteous measure.
And that's what you got into it for, right? That's what you want to do. You want to stop that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's, man, good on you, man. Good on you for stopping that. Because, it starts at the top, right? And it's like leadership at any level, any business, any team.
FBI director.
Right. Because at the end of the day, you guys are a team trying to stop these guys from committing evil. So it starts at the top, man. So like for you to be able to lead a team, it takes a lot of guts. You know what I mean? Because you have to it takes a lot of guts and a lot of risk and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They're just not. They're not willing to take that risk and put themselves in that situation. So good on you.
And again, I certainly didn't mean to come into this nitpicking interview style. Like again, at the very start of this, he was being very humble and modest about being in the NFL. I very much respect that. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, what does this guy do? I'm just, as we're watching, we talk about the way we communicate each other. But saying like, oh, well, not a lot of guys are willing to do that. That's kind of a cliche. But if you twist that a little bit, and again, talk about what either pinpointing what it is that's so specific, or if you don't know, then ask, why do you think so few people are willing to go there? And I think that again, you're just gonna get fuller answers. Any film said dude had a mortar go off about 6 feet away from them in Afghanistan, which resulted in facial damage. So I think it's pretty insensitive talking about his lazy eye. There you go, equality. So that's what I was saying. Like I said, it looked like it's not his eye; it's just the shape of his face. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sensitive. Nick said, I don't know, but I don't think so. Maybe I just can't see him well enough. I call it. I think that's you, girl. I think you want a boat on your own. Oh, on your own.
They're just not. They're not willing to take that risk and put themselves in that situation. So good on you. What do you think? What do you think in life prepared you to handle that? Like did you ever, do you think that your life just like kind of led to that? Like the things you went through as a, you grew up in New York, right? Which is not an easy environment to grow up in, right? It's not easy.
Okay. But now I really don't, this is not what I meant to do, but this is just too good of an example of this. He asked the question and then he kind of asked another question on top of that and then qualified the second question without just ask the question and let him answer it.
What do you think in life prepared you to handle that? Like
that's the question. What do you think in life prepared you to handle that? And so he's probably going to say, nothing. I had to learn on the job or something along those lines. But now we've got getting into.
Did you ever, do you think that your life just like kind of led to that? Like the things you went through as a, you grew up in New York, right? Which is not an easy environment to grow up in, right?
Well, it depends on where in New York. Yeah, he said, I'm still angry. Biden left all our military gear, guns, ammo, etc. After he pulled out prematurely. He left our military dogs, and the Taliban brutally murdered all of them. Yep, and bunch of people too. That were there American citizens left behind, or just people who were Afghanis who worked with the Americans? But either way, it was so bad. And you notice how they were talking about how Trump wanted to, Trump's pullout of Afghanistan, because it was always Trump's pullout of Afghanistan that was meant to happen in his second term. And then they cheated, and then Biden wanted to take credit for it and did it badly, and all of that stuff. So there's so many benefits to America by extending the time that that Trump is so influential, but that's a hard pill to swallow.
It's not easy, so you're growing up in New York, you're playing hockey's a tough sport, and I'm sure being an Indian kid in hockey, which is like dominated by white dudes, you know what I mean? So I'm sure that so you probably, your fear level was probably zero.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a combination of those things when I look back at it in retrospect. Growing up in New York as an Indian.
So again, I'm nitpicking the style of asking the question. Instead of asking the question and then qualifying it, you're like, okay, so you grew up in New York, and you had that must have been tough. You've been into hockey, which is not an easy sport, and you're an Indian dude. Probably not a lot of people. What among these things prepared you for XYZ? That's how you want to ask that question.
I guess it's a combination of those things when I look back at it in retrospect. Growing up in New York as an Indian American, during those times, it's a little different, took a little heat. Kind of by the time I got to high school, I'd already heard every insult you probably throw my way. So it's not like anything new was coming my way. Hockey.
Yeah, it's called the military. And they were like, Biden was just like, no, we're good. I mean, I'm being facetious there, but yeah, that's they're military officers.
He was just a blessing. It probably prepared me in more ways than I could have ever thought.
Hey, shout out to Box. Welcome to the party. We are checking out our new FBI director, Kash Patel. Good to see you.
Hockey was just a blessing. It probably prepared me in more ways than I could have ever thought. But it also prepared me to have like a brotherhood and know that like there's good people you could rely on out there. And as you said, that the work we do as a team, there's no one man doing that lift that we were doing. And I think one of my FBI agents told me, when we were doing some of these cases, he's like, dude, if you're not pissing off half the bureau, you're not doing your job right. And what he meant by that was there's so many people in government that just want their next title and like paycheck and leap. And I just didn't care about any of it. And then I just got into government and stayed for 16 years, and Trump got in, and, it was a blessing for me because it was the greatest work I've ever done. And it's brought me to this point in life where.
And then got you the FBI director position.
Or maybe we can do it again. So I just got there by, as I say, putting the mission first. And yeah, I pissed off a lot of people along the way. That's why there's like hate pieces on me every other week in like the Times, the Atlantic, the Post, whatever,
Hey, if they ain't hating on you, you ain't doing shit.
They're making up stories, but you know what? Bring it on. I don't care.
Yeah. If you don't have a hater, if I got 9 haters today, I want 10 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that's how I look at it. Because if you're not
Dilly
pissing people
to
off,
that.
then you're probably just conforming to the bullshit that they're you're just
exactly.
You're just
I mean, you're gonna have like a million new haters tomorrow for having me on, but that's okay.
Oh, great, perfect.
Wait, I gotta intervene 1 second. You brought up hunting before the Chinese got in our microphones, and 2 weeks ago I just slugged a 5x7 810-pounder elk. So we got to get on a hunt together.
Oh, you shot your first elk?
Yeah, my first.
Is that your
elk.
first one?
Oh, where's Carl? Where's Carl? It's Carl, right? That's always Carl's talking about. I got a buck, right? I feel insecure now. I wasn't gonna say anything. I felt confident that it was Carl. Either way, whoever it's been, I'm thinking about you.
10-pounder elk. So we got to get on a hunt together.
Oh, you shot your first elk?
Yeah, my first.
Is that your first one? Where at? What state did you do it in?
I was way out in the Glass Mountains in West Texas.
Dude, good for you, man. Let's do it. Let's go on a hunt together. I would love to do that, man. I just leased a place. So maybe in next September, if you get like you just get it like a 4-day period where I have a lease just on the Western Slope. We'll go out there, dude, and there's a cabin on it and everything. We'll go out there. And
I'm in. I'm coming.
Yeah, I've never been hunting. I've been fishing a few times. I went one time when I was younger, and I just didn't know what it was. And but I have some friends who were into fishing, and I never got like deep into it. But there was a lake nearby, and we'd always take the kayaks out, go and spend some time on the water, spend some time on the shore, spend some time on the bridge, and just fish different spots. And it was fun. I've always wanted to do some more like some deep sea fishing. I think that would be cool. But I've always wanted to get an elk. I feel like that is on the bucket list. Not anytime soon. I got to learn how to shoot something, but eventually. Dip netting for salmon. There you go. I was gonna say, yeah, my friend who goes to is it Pulaski, New York, every winter. Probably going in a couple weeks, and he he'll just bring pounds and pounds and pounds of bass and salmon back. I'm like, yo, let me get that. So it's about to be fish season, baby.
Worth it now, just in and of itself.
It's
Sorry,
an over the counter. No, it's fine because it's an over the counter tag. We'll get you a tag and we'll go out there and we'll have a little hunt camp.
Hell yeah,
it'll be a really good time.
There you go.
Dude, I'm so glad that you're getting into it. Because have you eaten any of it yet?
It's on process. I've been eating it my whole life, and I've never shot big game. I've just shot other game, and then when I was in Florida for a while, it was hogs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, gotta go on an elk hunt. Gotta go on an elk hunt. I was supposed to go last year, but I tore my bicep playing hockey, so that got pushed off, and I finally did it.
Yeah, I can't imagine both the feeling of getting your first, getting the shot on your first kill, whatever it is, and then eating that animal, and like the difference in like going to McDonald's or picking something up at ShopRite and throwing it in a pan. I don't know from experience, obviously, but from what they say, it's different.
Oh man, it's elk hunting. Wait till you do it in September.
Why? What is? Is this going on? Is this a joke that went over my head? I don't get it.
Because I'm gonna get a bow in your hand. You're gonna start bow.
Oh, all right, let's do it.
Because if you like hockey, you like adrenaline.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like a 900-pound bull elk screaming 40 yards from you, just losing his mind. It rattles you. The adrenaline rush is incredible. And these animals I have so much respect for these animals because they're just incredible, man. They're so smart, and they get dumb in the rut because they only get to mate once.
Don't we all, baby? Don't we all? And that's a big thing, kind of taking a little bit of a side tour. But again, this is not so much policy-wise as getting to know who this guy is. It was Cam Hanes and Steve Rinella, among other people, who would go on Rogan and talk about hunting in the way, having respect and caring about the caring about nature in general, caring about the specific environment, and all those kinds of things. I just had a typical default liberal, never seen a gun perspective on hunting. Like, oh, you're mean because you don't care that the animal's dying. Meanwhile, I'm housing down a factory farm burger. Like, come on. Grouse is like chicken in the north. Cleaning them takes 3 seconds. Them dumb brubs got put there to get 8. Well, survival of the fittest, right? Survival of the fittest.
once a year. So
yeah, that's when we took them down, was in the rut. We had to bugle them out. We spent a few days doing it. It was a great time. I'm sure your audience is loving you and I talking about elk, but it's all good.
No, they love it. That's the audience I have. They're going to respect you even more because you're an elk hunter. Like that's
put one in the chat if you respect Cash more for being an elk hunter.
It's just elk hunting is phenomenal. It's the best meat you can get. Like I love elk. So yeah, we'll make that happen off camera. We'll make that happen. We'll get some bulls down, and there's some big deer and bear. We'll get a bear tag for you too, because you probably never killed a bear yet, right?
No, haven't done bear, but I'll do it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a bow in your hands. I'll talk to Hoyt and PSC and those guys, and we'll get a bow in your hands. That'll be you'll love it. You'll be obsessed with it. Once you start shooting a bow, you're obsessed with it. So
that's what I've heard too. I think of course. I don't know if I have the, like, that's, kind of zooming way out to my own life. And if you're, if you've been here a while, if you're in the Discord, you definitely know we've talked about how, I struggle with having routine with the jobs that I have and stuff. Like, I can't set up a daily or weekly routine because my schedule is just always changing. And something like bow hunting that would take hours and hours and hours and hours of practice to be able to go and perform that in that scenario, among training other stuff to be able to even go and do an elk hunt. That's the type of stuff that I would love to spend my time doing. And it's not like, I want to go out clubbing and partying and stuff like that. I want to be more self-sufficient. I think that is a big part of not just being a man, but being an American. Because bears are dirty and full of parasites. That's why you cook it.
Sorry for that addiction that I'm going to throw onto you.
I'm in. Sign me up.
But let's talk about like what's coming up, like what the future of this country is going to look like.
Ooh, man.
Like
well, I'm going to be the new FBI director.
What is like I'm going to stick to what you know best, which is security, right? So let's talk about, what do you think the number one security threat is right now?
China. It's always going to be China. The CCP specifically, not mainland China, not the Chinese people, the CCP.
Good distinction. I like that. I think that is a small but important distinction to remember, that we want to be concise, and that, like, the Chinese citizens are not necessary. Like, yeah, obviously, if they all get airdropped here at once with guns and like all that, then sweetie, you already do. If you eat meat, you already do. But yeah, it's not about the people, and it's not about the land. It's about the government. But if we could flip North Korea, that would be a huge boom. Indeed, that would. And hey, if anybody could do it, it's gonna be Trump. I mean, don't quote me. I'm pretty sure that like Purdue chicken and stuff is not free of parasites. I could be mistaken, but let's see. Actually, that should be a quick Google search. Is there parasites in? No. Okay, so can meat be FDA approved if there are parasites? Can we get a quick answer? Let's see if we can get a quick answer here. The answer, so can beef contain parasites? The answer is in case beef can indeed contain parasites. So proper cooking and handling handling practice significantly reduce the risk. So yeah, I told ya. What does this one say? I want to see. The FDA allows a few foods to contain whole insects, but insect parts. That's a whole story. Yeah. Eat the bugs and live in the pods. Yep. And that's why we cook the food raw. I mean, depending on what it is. Beef, I wouldn't just say raw beef is okay. There's certain types of beef that have been handled properly to be consumed. Yeah, and like tartar, if they have steak tartare or tuna tartare, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely not pork. Definitely not pork. Definitely not. Shout out to Jaden. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Good to see you. We are checking out our boy Kash Patel, the new FBI director, as appointed by Trump. Welcome.
China, the CCP specifically, not mainland China, not the Chinese people, the CCP.
No, not tartar.
And yeah, we have to deal with the whole nother animal called the deep state and the leadership structure in the swamp in Washington, D.C. And we can talk about that later if you want. But when it comes to straight up national security threats, overall, it's China and Russia, probably number 2. And if you want to talk kinetic operations, it's Iran, in terms of terrorist capabilities. And so it's a whole, I hate using this term because it's just used by so many goobers in DC, but it's a whole of government approach. If you want to take on your adversaries, you have to prioritize them as adversaries. You have to label terrorists as terrorists, like Trump did with Hamas. And Biden and Harris, what did they do? They flipped that label and removed it and then gave them $7 billion to Iran, and then they launch a world war. I mean, that's a really quick version of how we are where we are today in Israel with Iran's invasion of that war, where Americans are held hostage. Because they went into the military and DOD and said, we care more about DEI and white rage and climate change than we do about prioritizing no-fail mission and giving our men and women what they need. But there's a lot more behind it than just saying no, America first. You have to take your intelligence community and say, we only have X amount of people on the China threat, on the CCP threat, on the terrorism threat, on the narco traffickers. But those are all priority ones. Under Trump, they were. So our
and so Boggs is saying, I like Cash. I just don't think the powers that be will roll over and let him do what we really want or need. Well, he's the director. And then we have Doge coming in. So between the two of them, I don't know how much power the powers that be have anymore. I think we are the powers that be. I don't know. But that's what it seems like. He's about to run up against bureaucracy and the deep state. But yeah, exactly. Yep. Beautiful.
Narco traffickers. But those are all priority ones. Under Trump, they were. So our focus was boom, right on them.
We got more.
So you can't do anything unless you know what they're doing.
We only got 2 swole stream donations, guys, and Morty is hungry.
The only way you can figure that out is to have intelligence collections that are bringing that in. But if you tell your government, hey, I care more about the level of the ocean and, what temperature it is in wherever country you're looking at, then those people that are trained to look at the adversary are now looking at this made up adversary. And what happens is you miss a world war. You miss the fact that Putin was staging to rage a war into the Ukraine. I mean, how do you miss that? It doesn't just happen overnight. You also miss the invasion by the Iranian mercenary forces into Israel. How do you miss a world war? Can you just think if during the Trump administration, we missed both of those things? The media would go nuts.
The failures that the Biden-Harris administration, the failures, all you have to do is talk about Afghanistan. Afghanistan was such a massive failure and an embarrassment to our country that's all you have to see. No one's been fired.
No one.
People have been. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know this for a fact. I don't want to get the fact checkers getting involved, but I don't know this for a fact. But I do know that I haven't heard of anyone being fired. But I bet that there are people that after that happened, they got rewarded somehow.
Probably. Something says gotta get a super late sale to sobriety in Arizona, but I'll have you guys in the background. All right, appreciated. Gotcha. All right, well, thank you very much. Shout out to Box with the $2. Thank you. That's 3, guys. We are 1/5 of the way there. And of course, a treat for Morty with every donation. Said, I report till Thursday because budgets suck. I hear you, buddy. But thank you. So very, very much. We got 3 triple sponsors today. Let's go.
But I bet that there are people that after that happened, they got rewarded somehow.
No, dude. So you figured it all out. You need to go into government service.
Yep.
It took me forever to figure this out. And it's a theme, one of the themes of my book, Government Gangsters.
He's kind of being facetious, but also not. Also not. We need more regular people who aren't like either overly intellectual about the way people live or too deeply entrenched in the deep state. So he's saying, you need to be in the government, but we absolutely need people who are not trying to be a hero, who are not trying to gain power or money for themselves. Those are the types of people that we need to see in government. Where we at here? Behaves. So the media spent 10 minutes on the Afghan withdrawal and buried it. What do you expect? What do you expect? Yep. It's sad. It's sad. But that's exactly why all of these changes, I think, will really be huge.
You like it
because you know what? You're actually what is it was Box, right? Yeah, Box is saying I like Cash, but I don't know about the powers that be and going up against the deep state and the bureaucracy and all that stuff. That I think is the mandate, the referendum that everybody's talking about with such a huge red wave, is that you don't have the institutional power anymore of assuming that people don't want these agencies to be slashed up, because we do, and we voted on it democratically.
It took me forever to figure this out, and it's a theme, one of the themes of my book, Government Gangsters. If
Failing
you
upwards.
want a promotion in government, screw up. If you want a really big promotion, screw up monumentally. Bingo. And you'll get it, because government service is the ultimate. We're not going to have you held accountable unless you're a scapegoat for somebody else. But if you did screw up, we're going to make sure you're a crony to the deep state and the Washington, D.C. swamp, and we're going to promote you. I mean, there's just...
And so again, guys, I got to remind you, this isn't just some YouTuber. This isn't just some influencer. This is the FBI director. I don't know when that becomes official. Does that become official at inauguration or what? Let's actually look that up. When does Kash Patel officially go to jail? Jesus Christ. Become FBI director. 4 hours ago. 5 hours, 4 hours ago. ABC, New York. All right. President-elect Donald Trump, but on Saturday, approved by must be approved by the Senate. Supporter J6. So maybe when are Trump appointments? What's the word? Approved. Approved by the Senate. Oh, come on, Jesus Christ. Putting forward nothing. Oh my God, this is it's crazy how quickly Google has become just irrelevant, completely irrelevant. When does Kash Patel officially become the FBI director? I should have said assuming he gets approved. Yeah, he might. That's why I should have added that. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's January 6th. I don't know when they're gonna do that. Okay, so I get, but like when do they typically when is the Senate typically hold these hearings to these hearings? Within a few weeks to months after the president submits a formal nomination, these hearings are scheduled by the Senate Judiciary Committee, which reviews the nominee's qualifications and conducts public questioning. Okay, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that, as I am down to cover that I have a feeling that with a lot of these new types of people, that it's not going to be boring C-SPAN type stuff. It's going to be more like podcast type stuff where it's like, oh shit, he just said that. Yeah, who just said that? Box said so within 45 to 65 days, it looks like. Yeah, so we will look out for that. Carl said, F these pearl clutchers. It's time for recess appointments. What are recess appointments? I don't know what that means. Recess appointments. What does that mean? I've heard that before, but I don't know what that means.
To the deep state and the Washington, D.C. swamp, and we're going to promote you. I mean, there's just example after example of this, right?
Failing upwards.
We got to Russiagate, a whole nother story. These guys who were running the FBI at the time were in the D.C. swamp forever, Comey, McCabe, and whatever, and came out of nowhere and rose to the top. And they are the ones that destroyed the FBI because they were promoted without merit. But
okay, so it's time for recess appointments, meaning Trump can appoint people without approval if Congress is in recess. Are they in recess? Because as much as because we have the majority, so I don't know. I don't know if it would be worth the political capital to do this. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, oh, he's just being an authoritarian. I don't know. Yeah, that would be tough. Shout out to Black Salami TV. Welcome. So that should have been done in a special inauguration on January 6th. I'd be down for it. Jaden said, I can't wait until Trump gets back in office January 20th. Hell yeah. Shout out to Trump.
But by buying into the deep state and the swamp. And that's the same thing at DOD or anything else. And yeah, that's just one of my, oh man, that's why people in Washington, all they care about. And that's why you're hearing these generals come out now, right? And all these folks saying, oh, Trump's Hitler, Trump's a racist. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I was in the Oval when you guys were begging for the job that you were auditioning for and saying how awesome Donald Trump was. And then when he came into power and he checked your authority at the Department of Defense, which, by the way, is run by a civilian vested in the commander-in-chief, not you four-star goobers, they hated him because he was like, wait a second, what are you doing? And they were like, we're following the Constitution, which says he's the chain of command, you're not, and we're going to do what the commander-in-chief says under his lawful direction. I mean,
that's like, the law. Guys, if you're going to be a huge favor and share this video, take the URL, hit the share button. It does not matter where you put it. It does not matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. That does not matter. As long as you tell YouTube that you want to share it, it will help the channel out immensely. It is free. It is easy. It helps out so much. Thank you.
Hated him for it. So what do they do now? The same thing DC trains him to do. Make him a political piñata, call him a racist, say he's disgraceful to Mexican-American families. I'll give you the Vanessa Guillen story because this thing pisses me off. Vanessa Guillen was in our uniformed services in the Army, and she was murdered tragically on a military base, right? This is 4 years ago now. And President Trump was like, I remember I was in the Oval. He's like, find out what happened. We got to get this family full military honors. We got to take care of them financially. This is just a tragic thing for our men and women in uniformed services. I'm sure the family's reeling from it. And he said,
with all the wars, how many people did Biden pin medals on? Again, genuine question. I don't know. I haven't kept track, but I don't really remember much of that. There's a lot of war, a lot of military stuff, but not a lot of commendation.
He said, make sure the investigation's done correctly. We did it. We gave her full military honors because it was justified and the right thing to do. And President Trump came back and said, look, if the military doesn't pay for her funeral, I will. That's the type of commander-in-chief I want to see.
It does, bro. It does. Every account is the same to helm.
And just last week, you know what they did? They dug up this story and said President Trump made fun of Mexican Americans during the Vanessa Guillen tragedy and was hateful to the Department of Defense. Vanessa Guillen's own family, her sister and her mother, had to do national media last week to say that President Trump was loving, caring, and more financially supportive than any commander-in-chief they could have ever possibly wished for. Her own family had to relive that tragedy because this is what they do in Washington, D.C. when it's political hunting season.
Yeah, and that's disgusting, man. That's so. You're talking about somebody who lost their daughter, You know, that's a father lost a daughter, a mother lost a daughter.
Yeah, but they don't care. They like, if you zoom out, like, yes, for us, we get presented these stories of Laken Riley, and of course, it's a horrible situations, but like, they're sending our children to get killed in wars already. They're already there. The notion that they would care about any one specific person is ridiculous. I mean, for you to say that is a little wild, but okay.
I don't know if she had kids or not, but like, that the loss there is so great and so unnecessary. For them to politicize that is disgusting. And that's what they do. They politicize all of that. They try to take,
yikes, bro. I would think about this take before you say it publicly. Like, this is not a good look. Trust me. I don't know what you're trying. Like, that sounds like, oh, fuck up. Like, not a good look. Not a good look. I don't think that's what you mean, but that's what it sounds like.
Take the Charleston thing. That's all bullshit. I mean, it's just lie after lie after lie.
Mm-hmm.
The hypocrisy on that side, the hypocrisy on the left right now is so. They will call you what they are, right? People.
Projection. They will call you what they are. Textbook projection.
In this country, like people don't really think about race until they bring it up. They're constantly bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a constant issue. They have to talk about race, race this, race that. But
yeah, we were watching the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and somebody was saying something and making a joke, and like, I was just, it like completely went over my head, and I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, because the black guy versus the white guy. I was like, what? You think like that on like normal things? That's weird.
Politics shouldn't be a popularity contest.
No,
it should be the best. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be, oh, who fits the DEI bill. It should be who's the best and most qualified. I don't care what your gender is, what your sexuality is, what your skin color. I don't care about any of that. I just care about the merit, like the merit and the character. Are you?
No, whoever it was that brought, I forget who it was, but those of you who are watching might remember. Whoever that was, that was them. So I'm just relaying that happened. So it's their fault, not mine.
You qualified for the job. Are you the best possible? Like, there's, the Secret Service debacle that went on after Trump got shot in the ear. Like, how does that happen, Cash? How is the incompetency so bad? Is it because of the DEI hires? Is it because they're not hiring off of merit? It's off of what you're like. Again, man, you're fitting like.
Again, man, ask the question and let him answer. Why is that happening? And then let him answer.
Because they're not hiring off of merit. It's off of what you're like you're fitting like a bill that they need to fill.
Here's the scary thing. It's intentional. It's intentional. It's not negligent. It's not reckless. It is an intentional decision by politicized leadership. And I'll get back to that, but I'm going to send the last 30-second clip to the boss and say it's Derek's audition to be the chief enforcer in the White House should he pull this thing off. Because having a guy like you in there to go Donkey Kong would be awesome. It would be so epic. But because you summed it up perfectly, because you pulled out of Washington what they've been covering up for 60 years. When the Secret Service fails to protect the commander-in-chief or a guy running for commander-in-chief,
which they did, unquestionably, the man was shot in the head
because he got shot from 180 yards away on a rooftop with an open line of sight. That's an intentional failure in leadership to not provide the resources necessary. We had been asking the Secret Service for 2 years, the Trump campaign, we need more. Threat levels too high. They gave him barely any of it, and they rejected the multiple requests. And
it's almost like they wanted him to die.
What did the Secret Service directors do when they were called to the mats in Congress? They both lied. They said that never happened. Then we showed the American public the request. They were like, oh, and one of them got fired. And her minion became the next man up, who was just like her, now lying to the American public all over again. And that's why you had the second assassination attempt, clear line of sight. And I've been on that golf course with the boss on that hole. I think you have too. And how do they let this guy camp out there for like 16 hours? because they didn't give them the resources. I don't want to attack the men and women doing the job, but if there's only 8.
For the female Secret Service agent who was too busy breastfeeding her baby at a Trump rally? I didn't hear about. Is that real? Does somebody have a source on that? I feel like that's made up. That sounds made up.
Guys doing the job of 80, it's really hard to cover down. And so that's just a microcosm, but a very important example of how intentionally the agencies and departments in government weaponize them.
Any phone said, how about Joe Rogan as press secretary with his producer with that fact checks? Every time the media says some lie, he says, hey, Billy. Hey, Billy. It's Jamie. Hey, Jamie, bring that up. But the problem is that they always just go to the first Google result and don't actually check it. And they're controlling the Google results. So the Google results are going to be exactly what they want you to see. So no, thank you. I mean, Joe's definitely he's on the right team, but he's not in deep enough. And that's a conscious choice of his. And I would do the same. He's a millionaire many times over. He does what he wants to do. Stay away from everyone and everything else. I would do the same thing in his position, but that's exactly why he can't be the press secretary, because he doesn't care enough about all of this stuff. Black Salami said, I always found it funny that people just accept fact checks on fact checks. Yep. Yeah, grab me a source or something. I would love to see that. I mean, she did put herself in harm's way. But yeah, like, that's not enough. Trying isn't enough. Let's search. Secret Service. We'll do breast. .gov. Oh, the woman in the Secret Service. Well, it's not going to be on here. From Newsweek, the Secret Service is investigating a report that said an agent left her post at a Trump event to breastfeed. In a statement shared with Newsweek, all employees of the U.S. Secret Service are held to the highest standards. While there's no impact, the remarks from after Real Clear Politics. Susan Crabtree said that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post at former, President-elect Donald Trump's Wednesday campaign rally in Asheville, North Carolina, to breastfeed with no permission or warning to the event site agent. The site agent went to do one final sweep of the walkthrough and found the agent breastfeeding her child in a room that is supposed to be set aside for important Secret Service work, i.e. potential emergency related to the president. That sounded fake as fuck. But that was real. That's crazy. That is crazy. And I mean, let's not forget that the Secret Service was also in some scandal down in, where were they? Was it Mexico or somewhere where they were like, they had coke and strippers and all that stuff. So, I mean, as long as you're doing the job, I'm cool with it. But don't leave your post for any reason. Yeah, definitely. Sad, but true. Black Salami said one of their Secret Service could barely pull their gun in or out and put it away. Yep. So does Trump's, apparently. Also, the new trend in media manipulation is CIA fronts like Ground News and the new Straight Arrow News. News aggregator sites that tell you who is credible or biased. The new fact checkers. Yep, they will tell you. They will tell you what to think. Wait, breastfeeding her child? Her child was there, or who was watching? Well, it said breastfeeding her child. So I would assume that means that the child was there feeding on her breast. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that that's what breastfeeding her child means. Like I said, strong women can both be a mom and do one of the most important jobs in the USA. Remember, ladies, your child is secondary to your career. Be a strong woman. That's the way to be, ladies. That's the way to be.
The agencies and departments in government weaponize themselves. I mean, we know about the unconstitutional matters of the two-tier system of justice, when it comes to DJT, when it comes to myself, when it comes to so many people. Because
right, but so exactly, Box saying she didn't run. She covered the man as best she could. It's just she was more like covering his dick. It's not her fault. Someone else put her on the detail. Right, that's the person to blame. That's the person to blame. The person who put that woman on the job, who is not tall enough to protect him. If I was on that Secret Service detail, it would be equally as inappropriate. Actually, probably a little bit worse. But let's be honest. I've never shot a gun, so. And I've been in some crazy situations, but I don't know. I don't know if I can jump in front of a bullet. I don't know. Shout out to Right Click. Welcome to the party. It says bring your kid to work day. Oh my goodness. These holidays are getting out of hand. Anybody said, well, what I'm saying, like before she went to breastfeed her child, where was the child? Who was watching the child? Probably no one. Probably no dad. It's almost like the person in charge of the detail didn't want qualified people protecting the ex-president that day. Yep. All right, let's dive back in.
System of justice, when it comes to DJT, when it comes to myself, when it comes to so many people. Because the leadership there, the Garlands, the race, and it's not just a Democratic thing. This is the thing I have to press upon people. It is a uniparty Republican Democratic thing. I'm talking about the Espers, the Barrs, the Haspels. I'm also talking about the Garlands, the Rays, the Blinkens.
I love that. Trump needed the Avengers on that day, but was given the MCU. That's a good one. That's like the best. How can I put this? The best. Like, I was trying to make a joke about he's gonna say it, flame on, but I don't know who's seen what. But it's on Disney Plus now, right? If you ain't seen it, then you ain't seen it. You know. Anyway,
all of these people grew up in the swamp together.
Yeah,
let's
go back and hear that.
Talking about the Espers, the Barrs, the Haspels. I'm also talking about the Garlands, the Rays, the Blinkens. All of these people grew up in the swamp together. And all of these people care about their next rotation through the swamp. And that's why when they say, oh, well, you had, when they talk about Barr and Esper and these guys, they had the temerity to turn on Donald Trump. Temerity to turn on Donald Trump. Donald Trump was your commander in chief, and he asked you to implement his constitutionally duly elected agenda, and you got in the way because you thought you knew better than the president. You're the one that broke the chain of command and got called out for it, and now they hate him because they got kicked out of the inner circle, and now they want back in, right? So they're all coming in and saying, "Oh, Kamala Harris for president."
Right, and this is why I don't understand how this argument has like taken any ground. That like, oh, well, how come all the people that hate Trump are saying? How come all the people that screwed over Trump, that got fired by Trump, how come they don't like Trump? What? Because they tried to screw him over and they got fired. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, they'll be like, oh, well, this person was in his cabinet and that person was in his cabinet and that. Like, we all agree across the board that Trump's biggest mistake was the people that he had around him in his first term. So you can't use that as as an insult when we're all like, yeah, we hate that as well. We're very much like Trump. You got to do better this time. And he's done better this time. And they're like, oh, well, but all the other people that were bad for America that he hired that were bad for America but didn't know it because he's a fucking TV host and then learned and fired them. All of them hate him. So we should listen to them. Stupid. What are you talking about? So the same thing Kash is about to run up against. They took on Trump round one. No, he is they. He is they now. Of course, there's other people in there, but like we were talking about before, between Kash at the helm and Doge with their goals, the deep state is over. The deep state is done. At least in the way that we have seen it in the last couple of decades, it's done. He is they.
Of the inner circle, and
yeah, but we're up. So it's not like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, if you do round one against Trump, then whatever you got in round two, you're not gonna do very well.
out for it, and now they hate him because they got kicked out of the inner circle, and now they want back in, right? So they're all coming in and saying, "Oh, Kamala Harris for president."
Your feelings.
They're lying to themselves because they know she's a terrible president, just to exact a political revenge. This is how disgusting the swamp leadership is. But that's what Trump exposed, and that to me is the real reason they're terrified of him. Terrified of him. He's going to fulfill his pledge to expose their corruption by what? Putting out all the truth. And I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think that's why they're coming for him so hard and fast.
The truth shall set you free.
I think that these guys, the dirt that they have on these people, you know, from the Epstein stuff, now the Diddy stuff, like I think that's why you're seeing people come out in support of Kamala Harris, because they've got.
That's because you've been trusting the people who've been lying to you, bro.
Footage of them doing something with young kids or young boys, like you know, you never know. But I really think that there's a lot of dirt on people, and I'm not.
Shout out to Destiny. Not that he's doing anything with a kid, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't want to get fact checked on this, but I do think that most of these politicians, you got to be to come up through that. I think that everybody gets into politics for the right reasons at the beginning, and then when they get into the system.
Maybe not everybody, but I think I think a lot of people get into politics for the right reasons and then get twisted by the system. But I don't know. Everybody.
I think that everybody gets into politics for the right reasons at the beginning, and then when they get into the system, they are compromised. At some point, they get compromised.
Nick, what do you? Oh, hold on. That is only Donald Trump. Other politicians love giving up their power. Don't you know? Only Donald Trump is the one we need to worry about. Box said it's how long they keep lying. I know they have been. They just never stop. Yeah. So why are you still listening to them? There's loads of dirt on the elites. What's wrong with that one? That one's cool. I'm cool with that one. I'm talking about the fact that are you not aware that there's a video of Destiny sucking a dick floating around the internet? Kind of puts the Destiny Lauren thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where that comes from, but like, if it is, that's kind of normal. Or gay.
Because we're humans, we're all flawed, and we are all sinners, and we all make.
It is in. If you are a member of the channel, it is the video I put in the Not Safe for Work channel. In the Discord, it's not. You have to click the link to go onto Twitter, so it's not just gonna pop up in your face. But be careful,
because we're humans, we're all flawed, and
not me.
We are all sinners, and we all make mistakes, and they take advantage of those mistakes, and they just keep using that against them because they know if that comes out, they're ruined. So they will do whatever they have to do to stay in power and stay on that trajectory. To get up, because the ultimate goal is to get to the presidency, right? And that's how you see somebody like Kamala Harris. Hey, Kamala Harris wants to run around talking about a threat to democracy, this, a threat to democracy, that. She is the threat to democracy.
Whoa, wait. The issue with the video is not that he was divorced from his wife. It's the fact that he's sucking a dick. He's sucking a dick. And he's trying to be all like, I made it like 13 seconds in. I made it like, and he was trying to be like, ooh, like I'm being, but like, okay, moving on. Glum says, I knew that, but I actually feel betrayed by the Warren thing. Destiny already sucks, so his gayness doesn't surprise me. But like, don't you see how this is a little bit, maybe not tribalistic, but like they're people. They're not teams. You get that, right? Like, people fuck who have different thoughts all the time. Some of them are married. So because Lauren has opinions that are similar to you, I supposedly it was Nick Fuentes, but I think that is I don't know. I definitely don't know. He came out a little too hard. Like, I definitely did not do this with that. With it. Well, let's see. Let me find it. Nick Fuentes, Destiny tweet. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Come on. Destiny dick tweet. Come on, where is it? But it's him just saying, I did not. Oh, come on. It's got to be here. Because everybody was retweeting, like, I did not do anything with Destiny's dick. I did not put it in my mouth. Destiny did not come on me. Destiny, like, all those things. I don't know. I can't find it. It's out there somewhere. Okay. All right. Moving on. Where are we at here? Oh, the Twitter link is gone. Well, now we know that Right Click was trying to see that dick. No, I'm just kidding. Any film said, wait, didn't the dick have... I was not paying that close attention. And yeah, Morty's here. He is very hungry. Gonzac said I'm being hyperbolic. Obviously, I could really care less. No wonder Lauren had to run off to find herself right after her interactions with him. Bro, I'm pretty sure that was because she was in an abusive marriage, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, true. No, nobody is surprised.
What? She was appointed, not elected. They literally told Joe Biden, who got donkey slammed in that debate, he was not capable. Like, I mean, it was Donald Trump's up there like, what? How can you guys possibly run this guy? Like my favorite part was when he said he had an 8 handicap. I thought Trump was going to fall off the stage when he said that. He was like, what are you? He's like, what are you talking about?
Hey, shout out to our boy Funk Master General with the $25 cash app. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And we are getting down to crumbs. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very, very, very much appreciated. We got 60 seconds. I don't think we're gonna make our goal, but that means I don't have to do any push-ups. So hell yeah. All right. Where are we at? Here, where we at? Did I just say hi to you? I forget if I just said hi. I think I did, but either way, welcome to the party. The CCP is definitely the threat. Fox said I might have voted for Kamala had she had a real case. She is a corporal robot to the max.
Bingo.
Yep. I am glad you didn't. Hey, and where is it? There we go. Thank you so very, very much for the super sticker. And of course, a treat for Morty. One of these days, I'm hoping they're gonna be able to show the actual sticker, but you guys are all in the chat. You can see it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so very much. Oh man, we'll go with Guam Tech first. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you, sir. And any film said, what's the goal? It was a $15, $2 or super chats or more. But just so you guys know, here, let's do this. Wait, before you send anything else, hold on. That goal is over. Let's start a new goal. We got 5, so we'll just keep that same goal. We'll keep the same goal running for another whole hour. So we just need 10 more, and we'll do 20 Soul Stream push-ups. Is push-ups one word? Is it 2 words? Is it a hyphenated word? Which one is it? So, all right. Okay, new goal is set. Thank you. Where are we? We got that one, and indeed. Guamtech, or excuse me, mixing you guys up all the time. Bunkmaster is not in the chat, but he he sent the Cash App, so it is very much appreciated. So we got a bunch from Guamtech here again. Oh my goodness. I think that's 3, right? We got one right here. There we go. We got 2 right here. We'll give him a peanut. Look, we got a peanut. And 3. Thank you so very, very much. And I believe that we have a new sponsor of the stream, Funkmaster General. Let me double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, sir. Thank you guys so very much. Oh, another one. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Again, no question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you. No, you cannot have Morty. And he is 15 years old. He just turned 15 October, and 15 years since I got him on Halloween. Hey, and there's Nick Luchetti again. No question, no comment, pure love of the game. That's 3, guys. That's 3. And that's 8 out of 15, including what we got. We are getting there. Indie film coming in hot. Another $2. Oh my goodness. You guys really like seeing me on the floor, don't you? You love it. And indie film again. Oh my goodness. Thank you so very, very much. Oh my goodness. I am so appreciative. Oh my God. Look at that. You just ran that up. Guys, thank you so very much. So I made the same goal. So we had 5 and it was out of 15. And so now I just we got 5. And so I just redid the goal as 10 and we let it run for a whole other hour. That's the rest of the show. We got plenty of time, so we don't got to rush or anything. But thank you, guys. Thank you so very, very much. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Guamtech, and it is a pretty common thing where I'll send out super chats and it doesn't show up. If you I go through PayPal, they'll always send it back if it doesn't show up. Hey, indie film again. Said Morty looks confused. He is confused. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but I ain't questioning nothing. Thank you, guys. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to heart all these. Hearts. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very, very much. Let's dive back in. Let me do some math and we will update the, it shows your cute brown butt. We are almost there. And it will happen. So let's dive back into the video. Let me do a little bit of math skis and we'll make sure we get our credit to the sponsor of the stream. But guys, in my heart, you are all sponsors. No, I really, really, really do appreciate it. Again, this is an absolutely free show. So the fact that you guys are opening up your wallets and giving me your hard-earned money means the world to me. So thank you. Let's get on with the show. Thank you.
My favorite part was when he said he had an 8 handicap. I thought Trump was going to fall off the stage when he said that. It was like, it's like, what are you talking about? It's just incredible the games that they play, and then immediately remove him and put her in there, and then be like, oh well, he won't debate her. Yeah, he did debate her, and then he's not going to go back on CNN where he has to debate her and two other people. It's just incredible the bias that they show. And do you think that why do you think that mainstream media, which is failing, by the way, all of it, they're all failing. That's why podcasts are so big. I mean, look at the views that, like, Donald Trump comes onto your podcast, you're going to have 12 million views minimum. Why do you think they didn't even get 1 million on the Call Her Daddy one, that they spent like $1 million to recreate the set instead of just being like, oh, well, we flew in Call Her Daddy to some random set that we have.
They built a set. They built a set for a 40-minute podcast that not even 1 million people watched. So where did all the money go? Where did all the money go? Oh, thank you. Dilly to each and every one of you. If you are watching now, if you are watching later, if you have ever watched, thank you. Yeah, Boxer, they threw Bernie under the bus too. It was different, but same. Different, same, but different, but same, but different. Yep, same shit. Behave said that face is painfully adorable. And it gives me baby vibes. He is my little baby boy. 15-year-old baby boy. But you know, he's I can't get over it. He's so adorable. Box, I could have bought a house for as much as this set cost. No joke. Yeah. But, you know, that's what they think of your tax dollars. That's what they think of your tax dollars. Like said, y'all better pay yourselves if we hit that goal. Push-ups, squats, planks, etc. Winter has come and you need to get on your physical, bitches. That's why it's a swole stream. Leading the charge, brother. You leading the charge. Box said she should have went the Elon route and just gave out money for free. Well, she did and still lost. Oof. Carl said Bernie likes being thrown on the bus. It's a voluntary BDSM relationship with the Democrat Party. I think you are absolutely correct, sir. I think you are absolutely correct. I think he gets his social credit, pun sort of intended. He gets his social credit from being the guy that was thrown under the bus. You're absolutely right. Yeah, depending on where you are, a whole bunch of houses. All right, let's die. Oh, I gotta fix that. Hold on.
It's minimum. Why do you think that the mainstream media is so tied into the left? Do you think it's all because the scummy, dirty, grimy business that they're in, or is it?
Hey, whatever works. We are on a Maha Swole stream. That's 6 guys are more than halfway there. 4 more, and I'm on the floor. There you go. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Very appreciated. Black Salami TV said, anyone have opinions on the fact that Democrats ran on the ideas of child abuse, racism, and killing babies? Yeah, that's bad. Okay, that's bad. And also, generally, just not smart, as we saw. Not very popular. So, yeah, very dumb. Very, very, very dumb.
Scummy, dirty, grimy business that they're in, or is it something? Do they truly believe that this is the best candidate?
No, they don't. They don't believe that. That's what makes it so disgusting. If you're sitting down with them at a dinner table privately and you're talking to the mainstream media, they are probably saying this candidate, Kamala Harris, is terrible, but we got to champion her because of their hatred, their personal hatred for Donald Trump, because he exposed the legacy media's flawed reporting over and over again. And as the guy who ran Russiagate, let me just cycle you through a year of my life in like 30 seconds. I mean, you got to remind the world that we exposed a political party going overseas illegally using campaign finance dollars to hire a foreign asset to write a fake dossier, to hand that off to the FBI as a source and get paid for it, and then have the FBI go into a federal court and lie to a.
It doesn't have to be in $2 increments, but it's 10 super chats. So I mean, you could give me $20, but if you want to break it up, then that's the biggest bang for your buck. But that is so that's the minimum. So 99 cents ain't gonna cut it, but $2 or up is good. So it doesn't have to be $2. So feel free to crack that bitch open. Yeah, talking about what Salami was saying, running on ideas of child abuse, racism, and killing babies. They don't see it that way. It's almost beyond them. I would say it is beyond them, because to say it would be, it's almost beyond them, would make more sense to be like, okay, they ran on this stuff and lost, and then they were just like, oh, okay, that was a bad idea. But it is beyond them because they've doubled down, and they were like, no, this is the right way to do it. You're just all racist and bad, and we're all right. Black Salami said, I am scared of how many people we have elected. How many of the people we have elected even got there? None of them are smarter than most people I've just met on the street. No lie. Yeah, and that's the largest point, is that it's not about the best people get in. It's the people who want the power that get in. Hey, shout out to the God Daddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, and we got the God Daddy and the Overlord in one. Look at that. Look at that. If that's not an omen, or not an omen a bad thing. If that's not a positive version of an omen, I don't know what is. So let's welcome our God Daddy with a little bit of treat crumbs for Morty. Now they're all over my lap, so you can lick those up. No diddy. Cody said, I'm all in for Cash Me Outside Patel. I love that name, and we definitely got to use that. Welcome, 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 brother. Very, very, very good to see you. I'm not so much worried about those particular things, but for you, hey, yeah, do what you do. I want his attention. I love him. Don't we all? Don't we all? All right, diving back in. Yeah.
As a source and get paid for it, and then have the FBI go into a federal court and lie to a federal judge just to surveil illegally their opponent. None of that could have been possible without the help of the mainstream media, who propped up that lie, who received the leaks of classified information from the intelligence community FBI and said, we need you to do a political hit job on Trump, his campaign, and the surrogates. And they did that. They illegally surveilled 4 people. This is the crazy part. As the chief investigator for Russiagate, we sat down with Wray and Rosenstein, Trump's FBI director and attorney general, in the skiff, in the basement, in the lock vault of the Intel committee where we're running this thing. We said, yo, this is not on you guys. It happened before you. Help us clean it up. Not only did they tell us to go pound sand and cover up the corruption that we've now exposed and shown the people about the FISA reports and all that stuff. I didn't find this out till 5 years later. They illegally launched an investigation into me. They subpoenaed my bank records, my personal information, my phone calls, my emails.
Hold on. Oh, come on. Where is it?
What does that mean?
How about catch me outside? How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Okay, it's at 6 seconds.
Catch me outside. How about that?
5 seconds. Okay. So I just have this ready for whenever we talk, whenever we say cash, I'll just be like,
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
My text messages. The Attorney General of the United States and the Director of the FBI lied to the House Intelligence Committee Chair, Devin Nunes, threatened to investigate us. That was the lie. They had already started that investigation to us. And you know how I found out? Google sends me a notice 5 years later, 6 months ago,
5 years,
and says, oh, hey, by the way, the FBI grand jury demanded this from you.
Yeah, and Bog saying Trump putting victims of the organizations they worked in into power is so amazing, and it like, it's just it shouldn't be that amazing. That should be how government already works. That there's recourse and that people are treated fairly. But you know, look how far gone we are.
And they demanded it from 10 staffers. This is why American leadership in DC is so.
The Cash Outside girl. I mean, if he does well, then she could definitely raise her profile. She'll be old enough to run. It's a grand conspiracy to get the Cash Me Outside girl into office. Anyone said, I bet that Cash Me Outside girl never had a dad in her life. That was a very big part of the episode that was that put her on the map. Yes. Box said, even the lefty in me feels it. Yep. Black Swan said, I'll be in the after party. No Diddy. Never Diddy in the after party.
So hatred, because those guys are in bed with the mainstream media that we were talking about. And they were putting out hit piece after hit piece, not just of me. Who cares what they say about me, but about President Trump and his movement. And it always turns out to be false reporting, whether it's the January 6th bogus insurrection narrative, whether it's impeachment 1 and the quid pro quo, or impeachment 2, whether it's the biggest election rigging con job in U.S. history in the 51 Intel letter, when you have secretaries of defense and directors of the CIA knowingly write a false letter a week before an election and publicize it and say Hunter Biden's laptop is Russian disinformation. But again, it's Barr and Haspel, who were at the helm at the time as Trump's head of DOJ and CIA, who let that letter out. what did the media do? They did the rest. They picked it up and spiked the football in the end zone and say, you can't have Trump. He's a Russian asset. We're back to Russia, Russia, Russia again. So these are just some examples of like the mainstream media and how they originated with the swamp. There is no deep state without these guys.
Right.
And they're doing their work again for him, right? Because now what? Donald Trump's a Nazi? Like if you're at Madison Square Garden, you're a Nazi or you're a racist. Except they forget the fact that Joe Biden is now labeling us garbage. And, you know, I told the boss this, you know, I said, you know, the parents of Laken Riley and Alexis Nungary, who are tragically murdered and raped by illegal immigrants, have now come on to support or speak about President Trump. And I said, Joe Biden, they're not garbage, and neither are their daughters. But the mainstream media won't write about that.
Nope.
Because of their hatred for Donald Trump. They are literally okay, to a certain sense, with the reckless murders and rapes of innocent Americans to achieve a political agenda.
Think about that for a second. This is why I'm like, wait, why would they care about Laken Riley? Some girl, they think. Some random chick, they think. Some girl who has one vote, they think. That's what they think of all of us. So why would we expect that they would care? Are we under the impression that they didn't think there'd be an increase in crime? Like voters, okay, yeah, maybe they bought the propaganda and maybe they didn't know any better. But like, as stupid as you want to say that Biden and Kamala and anybody else a part of that is, they're not that ignorant, and they have teams of people around them to work out to game plan how anything they're going to do is going to play out. And
Joe Biden's comment about us being garbage, well, I think we take that and we slam it every chance we get.
Yeah, it's the same way, you know, Hillary Clinton, you know, she called us all deplorables. So it's
that
the same.
Never has gone away.
They truly feel that way about us. Like they think that we are subhuman. Like they treat us like we are subhuman. You see it, like, look what's happening in the Carolinas right now. Appalachia is just wrecked. And, you know, people are dying from hypothermia. You know,
yeah, remember this is from a month ago. So this was when the hurricanes and all that stuff. Boxing on pro-immigration. Come through a port of entry and let's process these cases faster and better. More Americans equals better. Not necessarily, because there's only so much food, water, jobs, and space for people. So we don't want 30 billion Americans because we don't have the infrastructure for 30 billion Americans. So more Americans does not equal better. More good Americans in general is a good concept, but you can't look at this in a vacuum. There's already tens of millions of people undocumented here. Whether they are good people or bad people, we don't know what is good with them. So we don't have an understanding of what the situation is. So to be adding to a problem that you don't understand is not a smart move. I'm pro-immigration as well, but I would be pro stopping all legal and illegal immigration for 6 months to a year okay. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said, bro. Come on.
The death toll is just rising.
Like, yes, maybe physically, but what are you like? Okay, and then what? The whole world is in LA, and then what? That's a good way to live? What are we talking about? Are we talking about living well? Because you said it's better. So you think it'd be better if the whole world lived in LA? That would be better. That's your argument? Come on, man. You're reaching. Also, Kamala cashed in on the border the same way Joe Biden cashed in on Ukraine and Burisma. There's billions in contracts to process people. She took a piece of paper. She took a piece of all that. This research needs to be done. I'm with that. Cody Brooks said, not only do they see poor people as deplorables, they dismiss them as poor voters without college education, brag about it in statistics for why Kamala lost. Poor, dumb people without college history. They're so stupid. When do they understand how racist they are and how much better than them I am? They just don't get it. They just don't get it. Black Salami said, we can fit the whole world, if we can, guys, commas, come on. If we can fit the whole world people in that small place, why do they just not go somewhere else?
Rising, but the mainstream media is not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. We're not sending funds there. Nobody's like it. Regular people are showing up former military guy, Tim Kennedy's over there doing a lot of work. It's groups like that are going over there, and they're the ones making a difference, not FEMA, because guess where all their money went? To illegal immigrants. In Colorado right now, that was a big part of my speech that I gave at the rally, was that, when I first came here to Denver, when I got drafted here in 2012, it was a beautiful place. Beautiful. It was so safe. You could leave your cars on. Like, I never locked my truck when I went downtown. It was no big deal. Like, I never worried about, I didn't really
in Denver
even carry a gun around because I didn't feel like I needed to. Now I don't leave the house without a gun and a knife on me, because every time I get on the road, there's cars without license plates on them. 5-6 of them every time I get on the road. All right, guys, I want to talk to you about a product that I've been using for a long time, over a decade. When I was playing football, one of my main staples in my diet was bison. I got my bison from Great Range Premium Bison. They make some of the finest cuts.
You get the ad, bro, but it's going on 2X.
All the steaks that you want. My favorite part about Great Range is that you don't have to worry about antibiotics or growth hormones in the meats. Great Range Premium Bison is a family-owned company providing bison meat for family-owned ranches around the country. So please go check out greatrangebison.com. The left will literally feed you a shit sandwich and expect you to say it tastes good
and pay for it.
Yep.
That's their motto.
And flex on you that they paid for it and you can't, you didn't get it because apparently you're poor, not that it's a shit sandwich.
It's like, hey, we're going to you will own nothing
and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy.
Pay us, and then you'll say, thank you. Can I pay again? That's their motto. And it's sad to see what's happening to the state. And a lot of people are leaving, right? So the good people that, are leaving, because the property taxes are going up. Property value is just like, you can't buy anything here. The cost of living is ridiculous, and it's dangerous. You're taking, take Springfield, Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I know where Springfield is. That's a tiny little town of 50.
Space absolutely is the problem. Space absolutely is the problem. Space absolutely is the problem. Just because you can fit one person here and one person here, that is not a livable situation. And there's a reason that we have so much public land and federal land and all that stuff. Yes, it is absolutely about space.
50,000, 60,000 people. And then you take 32,000 non-English speaking immigrants and just toss them in there with no plan.
Lots of people.
There's no plan to help integrate if you're going to have a plan to integrate immigrants into an area, I can understand that, right? I don't support it, but I can understand that. But I can't understand why you would, other than causing chaos and trying to flip a state.
Hey, there he is, our sponsor of the stream, Funk Master General. Said I don't own much and I'm quite content. Well, that's the difference. That's the difference. If you gave all of it away and you own nothing, you'd be happy. Welcome to the party, brother. Go to
causing chaos and trying to flip a state. I can't understand why you would just allow 25 million people to come across the border.
No, that's it. You nailed it.
And again, we have just a normal person just talking. I mean, like, yeah, the FBI director is like, yeah, spot on. So clearly, we don't need the greatest and most brilliant minds in our government. We just need people who care and people who pay attention.
About the vote, right? And people are like, oh, no, it's not. No one would ever do that. Well, these are the same guys that weaponized the system of justice and raided our houses of worship over politics. Yep. These are the same guys that illegally surveilled 275,000 Americans in 1 year alone using spy authorities I used to manhunt terrorists. They got caught, they got rewarded, they got more money, they got more authorities. So yes, you can believe it when a guy like you goes out there and has that powerful message and says, why are these illegals coming into our communities? Why can't we take care of our 55,000 homeless veterans first? What about our cops?
I was specifically talking about the interview. What is it, Derek Wolfe? That he's just saying, normal. He's just saying stuff, the same stuff that we say. And then Kash is like, oh yeah, you got it. You're spot on.
Our teachers and our frontline workers. And I'm talking as the son of legal immigrants. I'm all for legal immigration. Yeah. We do it 1 million times a year. No other country does that. And when you ask the radical left-wing machine in the media, well, why is it okay to have illegals stay at the Four Seasons in New York City and for me to walk down the street and see a guy who served in Vietnam still living in a sleeping bag under a tree?
It's not.
That's not acceptable to me. That's not acceptable to Trump, I don't think.
And then in comes the left. So are you going to give him all your money then?
why
That's when that's when you can turn it around, just like they did in Am I Racist? Well, no, it's a systemic issue. That would be insulting to give that person money. They didn't have double standards. They would have no standards.
And in these America First policies, it's not racist. It hits the core of who we are. And the media doesn't know how to respond to that because Harris doesn't have another policy. If she had a better policy to secure the border, to prevent tragic deaths, to end the forever wars, we would have heard that by now. So now they're just trying to, again, buy an election by saying, everyone come in here. We're the greatest place in the world. Free everything, free that. But, if actual Americans who are living lawfully here are hurt by it or killed by it or addicted to drugs by it, they're never going to cover it. And if people are ravaged by natural disaster, as you talked about in North Carolina, FEMA, they're going to say, oh, FEMA doesn't have money. Well, no, FEMA has the money.
Not anymore.
Not to spend it in North Carolina. Instead, you just signed up and get this kicker. This is how bad the deep state is and the government and the Harris Biden regime. A week after Helene ravaged North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, wasn't she, Trump was out there like the same day or the next day, and she was at some party or something. Right?
Instead of sending FEMA money to them, they secured an aid package for $7 billion to the Ukraine, which included natural disaster relief for Ukraine.
Bruh,
you can't make this stuff up,
bruh.
That's treasonous.
That is treasonous. Box says this poll in this chat gives me hope. Well, I mean, what would I was expecting a little bit more even, but I definitely expected yes to it there. King said cracking down hard on the border just to save a few of those kids should be an issue both sides can get behind. Yeah, absolutely. Black Salami said it was reported. My thing here. It was reported that after how yep, exactly. They were like, skip those houses because we don't have any fucking money, so only give it to the people who are going to vote for us. What do we got? I'm like, so this is why I'm an eventual socialist. I do think there is a point where we could provide for everyone, but it can't be rushed. A proud capitalist until we have an abundance in basic needs. It's not even about that. It has to be a we have to have all the abundance of basic needs and also a drastic cultural shift from the idea of merit and capitalism. So I just don't think that that's going to happen because there's always going to be, even if money and currency specifically are things that we have in abundance, there's always going to be things that people have that other people don't have. And it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. I mean, I could be wrong. You could be right, but oh, wow.
You can't make this stuff up.
I mean, that's treasonous. It really is. Cash, it's treason. Like, what's going on is treason. They're selling our country out. And our founding fathers are probably rolling in their graves, to see what's actually happening.
Yeah, I thought the breastfeeding Secret Service girl was fake news, but keeps getting crazier. I'm cold.
Because think about how hard it was to. Right. I love history, right? So I love learning about all history, like from how this country, especially about our country. And when you see the kind of, they fought an impossible war, the Revolutionary War. You were not supposed to win that war, right? That was like, you're going against the greatest empire of all time and the sacrifice that took. And then, fast forward to the Civil War, then the World War. So like, think about all the people that died to make sure that we are the greatest country, and to see them just sell us out and not take care of people that live here and the people that pay taxes here and the people that work here. It's just insane to me.
Agreed. Shout out to Box for the gifted membership. Thank you so very much. And a shout out to Rich Brooks. Make sure you join the Discord as a member. You now have full access. Thank you, sir. And of course, we got our boy. Oh, come on, move the thing. We got our boy Guamtech again. No question, no comment. Just pure love of the Swole Stream. 3 more, guys. 3 more, and I'm on the floor. 3 more, and I'm on the floor. I'm getting cold. I need to get my blood moving. Thank you so very, very much. Hey, and he said, 1 more from the socialist capitalist. That don't make no sense. But I'm a capitalist, so I will take it. Thank you, sir. 2 more. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry, Moses. Sorry, I thought we were full screen. I'll give you a bigger one since that was a tease. Look at the size of that one. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, and Nick comes in, guys. Guys, we are 1 away. Thank you. There we go. And indie film. Beautiful. Thank you so very much. And of course, guys, that makes it time for the Swole Stream workout. Let's go! All right, boy, you gotta get up. All right, over here. All right, let's do this. Let's get you over here. Yeah! Pay yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We are all part of the Swole team. Let's get swole. What did I say? 20 push-ups, guys. 20 push-ups. Let's do it. Who's doing it? Put one in the chat. Let's go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 1 for good luck, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say, fuck you, unwanted foe. Fuck you, unwanted foe. Everything is here. Dilly to you guys. I see him. Thank you. All right. Let's get one back to the seat. There we go. And we're back. And we're swole. And we're sweating. All right. Thank you so very, very much. And look, we're not even done. Oh my goodness, indie film coming in with more, baby. More. I'm down to crumbs, but we'll give them crumbs. There you go. And 1 more, yeah. There you go. We got that much left before he is doing straight crumbs. But he's got a lot of crumbs. He's gonna enjoy that. Thank you so very, very much. OMG, says Indie Film. Whoa, we getting swole, baby. There we go. Thank you. We got it. Let's go. Pay yourselves. Hell yeah. If you are a member, post some, put some, let's use the selfies channel. Take a selfie of yourself doing the swole stuff and put it in the selfies channel. That's how we will keep each other accountable, you know? Thank you. Behave says, yay. Bugmaster General said, excellent, fellas. I'm being restricted tonight. I made YouTube sad. Naughty words, sir. Buck said, I lifted 5,000 pounds of metal today. I cannot do push-ups. I refuse. Well, you already paid yourself. That works. Black Swami said, I make YouTube sad every day just for saying the truth. Yeah, they don't really like it. Behave said, you're a skinny, hot guy. Thank you. Morty is like, what? Yeah, he is like, what is going on? Yeah, we'll get the squats. We'll get the squats down the road. I gotta get my I gotta fill out my upper body and stuff, first. But we'll get there. 50. Oh, you pushing it now. I could do 50, but I can't come back and talk for another 2 hours after doing 50 push-ups. Treat up. Yep. Oh, I got a whole big bag in the car. Don't you worry. That's currently 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Plank for freedom. Swole team. There you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. And I very much appreciate it. Let's dive right back in. Woo!
And to see them just sell us out and not take care of people that live here and the people that pay taxes here and the people that work here, it's just insane to me that they would rather, they're closing schools down. Schools are getting closed down so they can house immigrants. They're
money
closing
and
all
power.
these, our taxpayer dollars are paying for the Four Seasons. Are you kidding me? I've stayed at Four Seasons. I know what that cost.
I haven't stayed at Four Seasons. I have no idea what it cost or how fancy it is. I saw it in movies. I've seen it in Home Alone. That's as close as I've gotten. And I was born here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So we're not even making it up. We're not being facetious.
It's not. Are. They are. Yeah, they're literally doing these things. So okay. So let's say Trump. So Trump wins the election. Okay.
See, I didn't eat too much on Thanksgiving, so I ain't working shit up. I didn't really eat that much today, so hopefully, for me, hopefully it's gonna make me be more hungry, and I'll be eating more. That's my issue, but it's a whole thing. Carl said it's not about how good you look or how strong you are. It's about whether you can defend yourself. That's my mentality on exercise. I do it to stay healthy and ready for combat. Good thinking. Good job, everybody. Indeed. King said you're doing good if you can smoke as much as you do and not come back breathing in the mic that hard. I mean, again, guys, I really only smoke at night. I'm not like I smoke a decent amount at night, but it's not like I'm high all day anymore.
Which he's got to win. I saw a thing today that 55 million people have voted early. That was me. It's going to be harder. We have to win by so much that they can't cheat.
That's
got to be,
and we did.
It's got to be
right there.
Yeah, it's got to be so because they're gonna
big to ring.
They're gonna try. Like they just
too big to
they're gonna do all the little things that they do to try to cheat. Ballot boxes are being lit on fire. Like all these things are happening because they're seeing. People are fed up with.
They're scared
with what's going on. Mm-hmm. Some people are going to be brainwashed and stay brainwashed. But what do you think? So day one in office, what does Trump do? How does he handle the illegal immigrant issue? How is this mass deportation? What does that look like?
Yeah, totally.
Shove them in a plane and get them the fuck out of here.
Totally doable. Just a quick thought on the election. I've been on the Team Trump bus tour in every swing state. Been doing surrogate events for them. And what I'm seeing is what is reflective of what you just said. Mm-hmm. This early registration, early voting turnout has been Trump's swamp the vote machine. And I believe, in my opinion,
how easy would it be to assume that this was all just wishful thinking? Because again, this was a month ago. This was before the election. And so it very easily could have been seen as wishful thinking. And then if by some crazy reason he had lost, then, you come back to stuff like this and the only way you could lose and some more 2020 bullshit. But we did it. Into the nose, out to the mouth. Guamtech said Four Seasons dinner is overhyped bullshit. It's just pretentious and slightly better tasting food than a decent restaurant. Not worth the money. Great martinis, though. Well, yeah, but I mean, the bartender at my local pub makes a good martini. So, yeah, I'll skip that for the decent future. Decent, you know what I mean. Box said, I firmly believe that if Trump had asked people to vote early in 2020, he would have won easily. We muffed that up. Yep. You beat me to it. Indeed. But it was a principled stance, but it was muffed. What about parachutes? To get hit in the face? Yeah. So, any film, can you, I didn't star the thing. If you could say what you said, that he got hit by a mortar. What was the situation with that? That Behave is asking about.
Turnout has been Trump swamped the vote machine. And I believe, in my opinion, he's doing it for exactly the reason you said, to have a number, a delta that's so big that it doesn't matter how many mail-in ballots come in, because there can only be so many at the end of the day. If that number's so big, he's going to win, and hopefully win big. And I think the way he's doing it is by calling out, it's not just the people that normally vote. He's calling out the people that normally should vote and don't. And I'm talking about gun owners and evangelicals and Bitcoin guys and crypto guys and gamers. He has crafted policies for each one of those communities and has, in a brilliant way, spoken to them, but also called them out slightly for saying, get this fact, last election cycle, 150,000 registered gun owners in the state of Georgia did not vote in 2020. Did not vote. Donald Trump lost Georgia by 13,000.
10 million hunters, 10 million voting age hunters didn't vote. 400,000 in Pennsylvania alone.
That's the state.
Or maybe that was
and that's what I'm talking about. Like
Michigan.
People,
so it seems like conversations like this very much did influence the election. Am I saying this particular podcast swung it? No, I'm saying this type of media. You are the media. I just realized Guantek sounds kind of like Cash voice-wise.
People always ask me, like, you know, oh, what's he going to do this and that? And I'm like, look at these numbers.
I can hear it. I've heard Guantek talk too much for, like, I can hear the difference. Like, if you played Cash next to Guantek, I'm pretty sure I could tell the difference. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. Good job. Well, that's what I mean. It made sense, right? Because before on Rumble, quality was like, he's got a lazy eye. And I'm like, that doesn't, like, a lazy eye is when, like, one's pointing this way, one's pointing that way, or that way. Like, it just looks like his face is just not symmetrical. That's it.
We have more numbers. We just have to motivate them to vote. So I just wanted to get that out there because it's been a big push, and I'm glad to see the early voting going the way it's going, but we just got to continue through the echo of the whistle. Yeah. As far as it goes to, like, when, hopefully when he wins, I think President Trump has told the world what his policies are going to be. He's been as loud as any politician has ever been, if not louder. And he's detailed them on his websites, on his rallies, and he's done, I don't know how many interviews. And to specifically bring home,
we can do a test. We can do a test of the after party. We'll play a Cash clip. We'll get Gonzek to repeat the line, and we'll see if y'all can tell.
The deportation issue. There's a couple of things, in my opinion, that you can do to implement his plan of mass deportation. One, they're like, oh, how are you going to find him? You want a quick find? Go to every county and state jail and every federal prison and look at
wait, before he says anything. So that's a good one too. But just be like, hey, we will give you free shit if you show up to this place. And then they show up. Gotcha, bitch.
That has been detained by ICE at some point in the past for illegally coming here. Boom. You get the most violent ones out overnight, right away. Then you go to your local law enforcement and you say, hey, we know you guys have arrested folks who have been here illegally, but were forced to let them out into the community. Who are they? Where are they?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing about laws is that we can change them.
Now you're really cooking with gasoline, and you're really bringing in the worst of the worst. And to me, that's where you start, right? And they're going to say, oh,
you're a tiny bit more nasally, and he's a tiny bit more of a. He's got a little bit more timbre in his voice, but it's very similar.
Oh, you're going to separate families. Well, didn't you guys allow the kids at the border to be separated from their mom and dad when they were illegally trafficked into this country in the first place?
Yup.
Like, how is it that this administration openly admits they don't know where 300,000 children are? 300,000 children you can't find. We're trying to unite them with their families And you're busy with the mainstream media dividing us based on a lie. And when it comes to the logistical operation,
I don't know if you saw the most recent popular vote in a general election, but democracy prevailed.
having run the Department of Defense, which is like, I think 10 times the size of Amazon, we have the largest logistical transportation network in the world. If we ran C-17s and Hercs 24/7, nonstop, full of illegals out of this country to their country of destination, we could have this whole thing done in 3 to 6 months. It is totally doable, and it is totally economically feasible, and it is the right thing to do, in my opinion. And of course, the left is going to go absolutely apoplectic over something like that. But I think, in my opinion,
I am met with apoplexy. Do you understand? I am met with apoplexy. I played ape. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Those kids are not going to be found. Those kids were never going to be found. Those kids are gone. I mean, maybe a few, but there's entire networks to make sure that maybe some you get some leakage. You could let go of that pipe dream. The idea is to stop children from getting into that system.
And, a president has his own methodology on this. That's how you do it.
It's a good thing we, on top of democracy, live in a republic.
That's what I was going to say too. That I agree with you. Start with the violent criminals first, because that's what people care. That's what people care about right now, is being safe. They want to feel safe, because the culture in America is so different from
how apoplectic
the culture in Venezuela, right? You're talking about totally different cultures, and their level. I've heard about the TDA, right? The Tren de Aragua. Apparently, they make MS-13 look like Boy Scouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, never have I heard of any.
Never have I ever seen Venezuelan gangs take over entire apartment complexes in the United States of America.
Criminal organization, any gang organization, getting a green light on cops. Like, they gave a green light to this gang to shoot Colorado cops, Texas cops. It's insane. It's insane. It really is. It's insanity. And it's the cover up that's going on. Do you really think that it's just a flip of the votes? Like, it's just for votes? Is it just to let them vote, or is it to cause chaos so they can keep, because if they keep us fighting, they can control us?
Interesting question. I hope he leaves it there and gives it to Cash and doesn't insert his own opinion before he gives the question to Cash. But great question.
And that's what they want, is control. So do you think it's votes, or do you think it's control, or do you think it's both? When
it comes to like Tren de Aragua, I think it's a collateral consequence. Those criminals are not stupid. They got together, just like Iran and Afghanistan over the years, and said, hey, we got free reign in the south border of the United States of America. Let's seed in our illegals. Let's also seed in our people. And that's why Christopher Wray and Mayorkas admitted to Congress 2 months ago that they have 50 known terrorist affiliates that are in our country and that they lost. Now, I believe that number to be much higher.
Lost them.
But these guys.
Just like those billions and billions and billions and billions of your dollars. We just, what had happened? They were here. And then, they are still here, but we just don't really know where. So people are not stupid. Well, there are some stupid people, but most people are not stupid. No, that's you always got to refer back to the George Carlin bit on this. Think about how stupid the average person is. Now realize that half of the people are dumber than that. So yes, people are stupid. A person is smart. People are dumb. Who knows that reference?
Guys saying it under oath. But that's because our enemies aren't stupid. Harris and Biden treat them as dumb. But the terrorists and the narco traffickers are getting together and saying, hang on, we got something here. So same is the Tren de Araguas, right? I'll, of course, say I don't think Harris and Biden want street gangs in the United States of America. I believe that they actually are supportive of something against that. But what they don't care about is stopping it, right? Having an open border, they know allows Tren de Aragua to organize like MS-13 did. before Trump wiped them out, and come into your town, into your state in Colorado, and take over the machine and take over the towns and criminalize basically every aspect of your life. But they don't care about stopping it or doing anything. They could go in there tomorrow, roll them all up and say, see you later, you're going back to Venezuela. And here's the ironic thing of everything. They accused Trump of being like, oh, he's going to be the guy that's going to unleash SEAL Team 6 into U.S. or mobilize military. Do you know what Biden and Harris did 2 weeks ago with an executive order? They
exactly that
allowed for the United States military to use lethal force in America against American citizens. They did that. Trump didn't do that. They just authored that pen out of DOD land. And so you got to ask yourself the question, why are they doing that? What are they fixing for if November 5th doesn't go their way? Biden and Harris.
Okay, guys, I need your input without you knowing what you're putting input on. So put a number in the chat. No. Put 2 or 3 in the chat. I'm not even gonna. It's not even gonna be just whoever gets a number in first wins. Just get a number in.
People, right? So I think that they are looking at, again, as you said, they're always guilty of the things they project upon us.
Box got it. All right. Okay. All right. Boom. So I was gonna. So the question, the reason that I'm asking is, of course, it was gonna be somebody. I was gonna put yes, no, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna put not sure, but I actually like having the yes or no and forcing you guys into leaning more one way or the other, because not sure yet is the only really reasonable response. So I left that out. So you're gonna have to go with which one you lean more closely.
As you said, they're always guilty of the things they project upon us. Donald Trump was never guilty of an insurrection on January 6th. I was there in the Oval Office when he authorized 10,000+ National Guardsmen and women days before, and Pelosi and Bowser shut it down. It cost me like $500,000 in attorney's fees and like 6 subpoenas to deal with it, but we got the truth out. And now, 4 years later, Kamala Harris gives a speech on the same ground, on the same evening of the election, and they're getting ready to do what we don't know, which is scary.
Carl says, I remember when Obama tried to be able to whack U.S. citizens on U.S. soil and got denied by the courts. I don't think that will stand. I hope not. I don't think, I understand the idea that, like, if we're going to see Summer of Love type riots, then, like, we can't then be like, okay, well, we need to stop this, but make sure you don't kill anybody. Like, I get that. I get the mentality behind it. But at the end of the day, I will always, when forced, side. Well, okay, maybe not always, but when reasonable, I will try to side with the American citizen over the government. So, as much as I don't like the riots, obviously, for either side, I don't think just being like open season. If you gotta kill them, if they die, they die. Yeah. Killed the U.S. citizens. They all do. No trial, no court, extrajudicial killing. That's part of the job. I mean, Trump did it too. I forget his name because it's not as convenient for me to remember Anwar al-Awlaki, who Obama killed. But I'm pretty sure that Trump killed a U.S. citizen in, I want to say, Libya or Syria. I don't know. Somebody fact check me on that. Because I definitely don't want to be repeating that if it's not true. I had heard that had happened.
Of the election, and they're getting ready to do what we don't know, which is scary. But now they're saying we might not accept the election results after saying Donald Trump was un-American to say we can question the election results when Hillary Clinton and everyone before her.
Too big to rig, baby.
She's still doing it. She's still questioning the 2016.
Yep. Anwar al-Awlaki.
Still, every time she
talks
talks
the greatest
about
victory of all time. Listen to her pout.
Oh yeah, just knowing that he owns a spot in her. He owns real estate in her mind. Like he has.
Oh, he's owned the entirety of real estate in all of the liberals' minds for the last decade.
He's in her head so deep that she can't get over it.
It's so good.
She is power hungry. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Black Buffalo. Black Buffalo's nicotine pouches do not
doing nicotine. Sorry.
They require family. If your shit pouch is worth respect.
As an addict, I cannot
it should be ripped apart.
So I got a couple of things there, having worked with those guys, and a lot of my buddies are still in. The everyday cops, they're great.
Great.
They're chasing.
Are they though? I'm going to go on a little side rant here. So as you guys, if you follow me on Twitter or you are in the Discord, you know that I went through a little binge fest of 60 Days In. So if you're not familiar with 60 Days In, it is a reality show. It's a documentary style reality show. And I thought that it was, just like cameras in a jail and, this is what happens in jail, which is, interesting enough, but, not something that's really going to bring me in. Be like, oh, I got to see that. But I learned that it's something different. And what 60 Days In, if you didn't know, is that they have volunteers. Like sometimes they're, COs or cops or ex-military, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I like this show. I want to see if I can survive in jail for 2 months. And so these people are just put, and it's only like the warden or the main guy that knows what's good. All the officers, all the other inmates, they don't know what the hell is going on. And whether it's the COs or the inmates, if they find out that somebody's in there undercover, no bueno. And so the throughout the show, you see a lot of what they'll say like, go, I went full inmate, or like, the being in there, it turned me, into that animal, or like if it was somebody who was previously incarcerated, like it brought me back to that person. So if that's the case, particularly with police officers who are used to dealing with the criminal element, why would we not assume that being a police officer would do the same thing in reverse that being an inmate would do? If we're taking somebody who is already biased towards the cops and against the inmates, and then you put them in as to behave as an inmate, and everybody thinks they're an inmate, and in 3 weeks they're like, holy shit, I had no fucking idea. I started getting in fights. I started doing this. I felt like I was getting angry. I was all this. Why would you think that after 10 years of being a cop, and yeah, okay, being a cop is a job and you go home, but you don't not be a cop when you're at home. In the same way that you don't get to go home for being you're an inmate the whole time, or you're a policeman the whole time, or you're law enforcement, whatever it is, the whole time. So if we see within 2 months, people who have training, who've been in high stress situations, can be so deeply affected by simply spending time in jail, why would we expect that having a badge and a gun and power would not do the same thing? Watch 60 Days In, guys. Trust me. It's worth it. So, I mean, I've been a little bit more gracious to law enforcement as crime has gotten a lot worse. But cops are going to cop. You know what I mean? I think it just needs to be loosened. Like, I think there needs to be some aspect of like, look, you're a cop. We're giving you the privilege and power to, to handle shit. There's going to be some weird areas in there, and we want you to be able to do what's best for everybody. It just can't be as loose as it is. So my grandpa was a cop for 35 years in Minneapolis. My brother is in federal prison. My dad and the vast majority of my family was in every branch of the military, except the Coast Guard. I see all sides of this. I get a professional courtesy, but what? I don't know what this part means.
Worked with those guys, and a lot of my buddies are still in. The everyday cops, they're great.
Great.
They're chasing down criminals, making sure our kids are safe, taking drugs out of our street. It's the leadership that has corrupted this organization. And you can totally fix it. It's completely fixable when you install a right leadership cadre. I've always said this. I don't know if you've seen Hoover Building in downtown Washington, D.C. It's the size of like a New York City square block. It's insane. That's the FBI headquarters. Shut that place down. Open it up.
All right, guys, we are past the 2.5 hour mark. You guys have been pretty generous towards the goal. We got 20 minutes here. We're not going to be able to finish this without anything. So we'll keep going and find a stopping point. Or if you want to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
It's insane. That's the FBI headquarters. Shut that place down, open it up the next day as a museum of the deep state, and allow every American to walk through the halls for free. Move the 40 people that you actually need to run the FBI into some
40 people. 40 people. So you're telling me that if the director of the FBI goes to goes to Doge and said we only need 40 people in the FBI to run the FBI, they're gonna be like, "Nuh-uh, we need more." We are the you're the bureaucracy right now.
For free. Move the 40 people that you actually need to run the FBI into some basement bunker in Washington that costs no money to operate in terms of rents. Then deploy the 7,000 agents and lawyers that are in that building to go be cops across America.
There you go.
Instead of coming to Washington, D.C. to get their next paycheck, their next pay raise.
Bro, that's fucking brilliant. It's so simple. It's so simple.
The 7,000 agents and lawyers that are in that building to go be cops across America. Instead of coming to Washington, D.C. to get their next paycheck, their next pay raise, their next promotion, their next title, they've built that institutionally into places, not just the FBI, but we're using that as an example. And you can do that in every other agency and department. So I think the FBI is totally fixable, and it's going to be tough because people are going to complain, but then you remind the people that the FBI are the ones that were illegally surveilling Americans, that were weaponizing government, that lied to federal judges, that wanted to exact political revenge. That literally, what did we just learn? That Comey, and you're talking to the guy that ran Russiagate, literally, that Comey actually, before the Russiagate operation was launched, Crossfire Hurricane by James Comey, he was sending female undercover agents into Donald Trump world to honey.
I was gonna say honeypot. Are we talking honeypot? Are we talking honeypot? Behave is saying I'm full MAGA now. Both parties suck. I'm an independent who is mega MAGA. I love it. Hey, shout out to Box with a gifted membership. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, a treat for Morty. Let's keep the party raging. Thank you so very much, sir.
Honeypot Donald Trump staffers. That was the reporting that was out of whistleblowers just yesterday on Capitol Hill. It's not me saying it. 2 FBI whistleblowers came forward to the Intel or Judiciary Committee and gave them the reports of that and the names of the people that were doing it. That's how bad the FBI is. We're talking 2014, 2015. So it needs a monster fix. I walk through it all in Government Gangsters because it's worth addressing, if President Trump wins, how to fix that organization. It's totally doable. I'm never going to be the one that says defund the FBI or get rid of it, but it needs a complete rehabilitation.
Yeah, and that's what
Okay, so he's not about abolishing the FBI, which I mean is he would be out of a job. But the minimization rehabilitation thing is exactly the mentality that we need.
I mean by rip it apart. You need to fire. People need to be fired.
Everyone.
Yeah, sorry. You said FBI. I went on a rant. I know you asked me.
No. I love what you said. What you said was, that was super informative. And I think people need to hear that because people don't understand what's actually going on. I think how the average American is like, oh, the government wouldn't do that.
Right.
They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that. You sure about that? Yeah, sure about that. You sure about that? You're sure about that? You sure about that? I bet you won't get that reference.
No way they would do that. Yes, they would.
They did.
They are spying on American citizens. They just have made it like. Do you think that they're planning for a civil war? Do you think that's what they're planning for? To make it so that I have a hard time believing that any American soldier would fire on another American citizen.
I don't think that.
So, and again, this is a, for those of us who are a little bit more familiar with Tim Pool, he talks a little bit more about civil war and what that would actually mean, and not necessarily the red side versus the blue side or whatever, but just factions of fighting. And he gives an example of like if a Texas couple got pregnant and the woman wanted to get rid of it and the man didn't, and then she's like, "Fuck you! I'm going to whatever state has abortion." And she flees. And the guy calls the cops and says, "This woman is, on the way to murder my child." And so, according to the rules and laws of that state, she is that is illegal. And so then she gets to the state border, and now the other state is saying, "Well, you can't arrest her for this is a legal thing." What happens? What happens? That is the question. That's the type of civil war that we need to be worried about. What we got? Black Salami said the government would never inject syphilis into young black citizens just to see what will happen. Tim Pool is building a cult. I have proof. All right, prove it. CIA is so wicked. Trust your government overlords. Yep. That's what they want. That's what they want. Who's he?
That'll ever happen. I think what they would want, they being the mainstream media and the radical left-wing agenda, is what they wanted from the last January 6th. They wanted the political capital of downtown DC looking like downtown Kandahar. That's why Nancy Pelosi asked us at the Department of Defense to roll in M1 Abrams tanks. And we were like, what? We obviously did not do that. But she wanted belt-fed machine guns on top of Humvees standing outside the U.S. Capitol. We were like, absolutely not. But that's what they wanted, because they wanted those optics, because they wanted the insurrection narrative to continue to be rolled out, because they knew that might be the only way to kneecap Donald Trump. And when we defeated that bogus narrative with the lies that not only the FBI and DOJ put out, but others, mind you, an FBI that we now know had at least 20 sources at the Capitol.
Hey, somebody's a little bit behind, but you got it. You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that? There you go. There you go. And shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Amon's always over here in Discord talking about How I Met Your Mother, and I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad that he's not watching me because he's watching How I Met Your Mother. I done tell them.
January 6th, which they also lied about. And as a guy who ran sources, that takes 6 months of lead time to build in there. How is it that the FBI knew that January 6th was going to go down like January 6th if Christopher Wray said, oh, there was no intelligence, we had no idea January 6th was going to go that way? But we had so many sources built into these networks. We're lying out of both sides of our mouth. I mean, this is what they want. They want the appearance of this chaos, and they're okay with it because it will allow them to achieve a political victory. And to me, that's the most deadly thing for our constitutional republic. And not a single one of them has or will ever apologize.
I mean, I'm trying to jump in and say stuff, but like, he's just on point. Carl said, Tim Pool acts like he's broke and wants to expand news coverage, but he also seems to want his audience to fund his rock star fantasies. It's just weird. It's called building a culture, and I believe in it. And you don't have to.
I don't want their apologies. I want them vanquished from Washington, D.C. and government service forever.
Yeah, I think that most Americans feel that. They want to see them gone. Just get them out. I know I talk shit about Zuckerberg all the time because Meta is.
I did.
They're guilty of so many,
got him.
Election interference things. It's just incredible. Like I get shadow banned so hard on there for my conservative viewpoints that
I got a How I Met Your Mother tattoo.
It's disgusting, but then anybody wants to talk about, men and women's sports or anything. They don't shut that down. Drag queen story time, that doesn't get shut down. But me having a conservative viewpoint, that's not okay.
You want to hit the censorship regime where it hurts? And this is how you do it. And this is like one of the ideas that I came up with.
I'm listening.
The backstory about one, I hate reading and writing, but when we got out, people were like, you got to write a book on how to fix the government. I was like, dude, I don't want to do that. That's going to suck. Anyway, I got lucky with President Trump and his team, and we rolled out Government of Gangsters. It's been a bestseller for 13 straight months. And then Bannon was like, we're making this thing into a movie. I was like, you're crazy. No one's going to watch that. And that turned into a blockbuster. And that's like the ammunition we're putting out there as fire for the American people to say, how are you going to do all this? And that's my cheap plug. Yes, make it a bestseller and go watch it at warroom.film.
I don't even necessarily disagree, Carl, but like there's who is the person that Tim is copying? If no one, then he's just doing that. Like, we don't have issues with people who who like do other things but aren't as successful as Tim, but are doing them for their own benefit. And again, the entire argument behind voting for Trump is that I think Trump acting in Trump's own I think Trump acting in Trump's own best interest is in my best interest, in the same way that I think Tim Pool acting in Tim Pool's best interest is in my best interest. Maybe not all the time, but in general.
But the way you defeat the censorship complex is, one, you educate the American public that there is one. You show them that the FBI literally
stop using naughty words.
Contracted with Twitter and Facebook and Google and had an election integrity task force that met with their leadership once a week before both of the last elections and told them what to and not to put out on their platforms, i.e. January 6th, i.e. Russiagate. They literally were nudged, as Zuckerberg and then said.
Yeah, we know this.
And now we have the email showing, oh, what does the FBI think about that? Why are you asking, you, a media company, because that's what Facebook and Google and Twitter are, right? They're social media companies. The New York Times doesn't ask the FBI, hey, can we print that? Should we print that? But they are, because contracts. So each of these companies has hundreds of millions of dollars of government contracts directly tied to the FBI, the DOJ, and the intelligence community.
Is anybody not familiar with the connection between the social media companies and the government, specifically FBI and CIA?
And if you step on those contracts and you remove them, you will get these people in line. And getting them in line is supposed to be the one thing that unifies them. We created a censorship-free platform for speech, for media, for videos, TikTok, whatever, right?
Nobody is aware of the connection. Okay, all right, we can.
Instagram, I don't even know what half these things are. But that's how you take them out in terms of exposing their corruption. And that's why Zuckerberg all of a sudden is bending the knee a little bit. He's like, oh, maybe I won't get $500 million. Because he's seen that when he got in bed with the corrupt actors, the response from Americans. And he knows the illegalities behind it. They just keep hiding behind this law, Section 230. Whole nother story. Need to remove that so we can actually sue.
What is that? What is that law?
So when social media first came out, there was a statute passed that basically said, you know how you have like the New York Times and CNN and Fox and whatever, right?
Really? You guys don't know about Section 230 and this like I feel like we've all talked about this before. Nobody knows about Section 230 or any of that stuff. A box with another gifted membership. Thank you so very, very much. Yummy. There we go. We'll leave the crumbs for him. I gotta re-up tomorrow. There we go. There you go. That's why we're here, baby. Thank you very, very much.
If you defame someone on those networks in print or on TV, you can sue them. But the government created this stupid carve out that says if someone says it on a Facebook, right, you can't sue Facebook or Twitter. So basically, Facebook and Twitter are like, oh, it's not our fault. But at the same time,
but also we're going to take your account away.
They're talking out both ends of their mouth. They're saying, well, that's disinformation, Derek. You can't talk about January 6th. You can't talk about Russiagate. Your audience can't listen to that. We're going to suspend you from Twitter.
You guys really have never heard people talk about this before? I am amazed.
And that's why they hate Elon, because he came in and said, I don't need your money. I'm going to take a bulldozer to this place. The left-wing media that love that guy. This guy might be public enemy number one.
So I asked, we have one person who is talking about 230 and then another person talking about 230. So the question remains, because like all he's doing is explaining what 230 is. So like if we all know what Section 230 is and that the social media companies are in bed with the government, that's what he's saying. We don't need to hear somebody else. Okay, all right. And when you reminded, we had Box jump in, so we will finish up
to them because he's got so much money he doesn't care, and that's how you defeat the social, media or the censorship industry complex. And that's why Donald Trump created Truth Social, which I'm on the board of, and I think that's why it's doing wildly popular. I think as of the airing of this podcast, this is hilarious.
Well, no, it's more specifically the other way around for protecting publishers like the New York Times. Yeah. You're right. It was No, giving protections to the social media companies and differentiating them from the publishers like the actual New York Times and other entities. So they have Section 230 gives them the protections.
Donald Trump's Truth Social is worth more than Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you think that your role?
What? Truth Social popular. I think as of the airing of this podcast, this is hilarious. Donald Trump's Truth Social is worth more than Twitter.
Really?
That can't be. Donald Trump, like Truth Social in general? Is truth so? Is it one word? Is social worth more than X? That can't be right. Currently, Truth Social, owned by Trump Media Group and Technology Group, is valued at $10 billion, surpassing X, which is valued at 9.4. That is wild. What? That don't make no sense. That's crazy. Either way. That's crazy. Truth Social is valued at $10 billion, and they're at 9.6, according to ChatGPT. So
this is hilarious. Donald Trump's Truth Social is worth more than Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you think that your role? So Trump wins. What is your role going to be?
I told the boss.
FBI director. Well, I mean, if you want to fact check and be like, no, actually, it's this, go for it.
I haven't really told people. So when we got out, nobody knew what was going on, right? Everybody was ticked off. We needed some downtime. I mean, I disappeared for like a month and then came back, and I was like, okay. I called him. It was the summer, 3 years ago now. He's like, hey, come see me in Bedminster. I'm like, no problem. So I drive up there, and I'm like, all right, ready for like this 6-hour marathon meeting. I walk into his office. I was in workout clothes because he changed the time on me at the last second. and I go, hey, boss, what are we doing? He goes, Cash, I'm all in. I go, Roger that, sir. I'm all in. I'll see you later. Never had a conversation about it since. And if he wants to call me on November 6th, great. I'm all in too. But I'm all in till then, and whatever he wants, because from a national security perspective, law enforcement perspective, that guy and many others, but that's my wheelhouse. That guy's been the greatest president we've ever seen in our lifetime. I mean, our singular mission when I was running counterterrorism or DOD or intel, I say these points at almost every speech I give. He's like, Cash, go kill Al Qaeda senior leadership, go wipe out the emirs of ISIS, go crush the narco traffickers, end child sex trafficking, seal the border.
So I don't even necessarily disagree with you, Funk, but like, why is this a problem? Like, this is the natural evolution of how people in media go. Like, I would, if in 5 years, I'm still just sitting in this room and looking at other people's podcasts and giving my opinion on other people's podcasts, I feel like you would be bored of that. And at a certain point, if I were to get that amount of popularity, there's only so many people who are going to be interested in right-leaning atheists' opinion on politics. And so once, in the same way that there's only going to be so many people who are interested in Tim's product, and it's been out there, and I agree that he's, been slipping away, but he's also getting older as a person. He also is becoming a father. And so, I'm not necessarily excusing it in saying that, oh, it's okay, we should just let him, we shouldn't acknowledge it. But at the same time, acknowledging it doesn't necessarily mean oh, Tim, how dare you? You owe us to do exactly what we like for you to do. That from this side of the camera, that sounds a little, And yeah, I mean, it definitely could be boredom on both sides of the camera. It could be boredom talking about the same. That's specifically why I didn't want to be a news channel. Where it's okay, here's the news. I'm going to tell you what's happening today. Because if it's boring, then it's going to get boring. And especially in an election year where there's not a lot of diversity of levels of things happening. Everything's just happening at the top federal level. Unless you're really in the weeds and you're talking about specific gubernatorial races, there's nothing else to talk about. It's only just now, today, when we've really kind of moved away from Trump and the election and Kamala and the Democrats. Only today. Our last streams, yesterday was more about religion stuff, but before that, we were talking about Cenk and Cenk. Was it Cenk and Destiny? Yeah, Cenk and Destiny. We were talking the other liberals. It was all about election, and then for the past how many months, it's all been Trump this or election that, and so yeah, it makes sense that on both sides, people can get burned out of either watching or making this kind of content very, very easily. Behave said, I agree with Cash. Trump is the best president I've ever had. Carl said, I only care because I'm an amateur musician and I find funding your own music to be a one-way ticket to mediocrity, especially when other people are paying your bills. And that's fair. I mean, I don't think, again, I don't think he's trying to become a famous musician. I think he's trying to be like, hey, look, this can be done. You go do it better than I can. That's the way that I take all of this culture, creating culture stuff. Not to be the cultural hub of America. Tim, that's not what Timcast is supposed to be. At least in my the way that I see it. That's not what Tim is trying to be. Tim is trying, from my perspective, it seems like Tim is trying to show, hey, this thing is possible. More of you go do it. Which resonates very closely with me because my idea is the same thing. That, hey, there's a thing, more of you go do it. And that thing, instead of whatever Tim's talking about, for me, it's about secular morality. But we all have different, it's different things. And I mean, I don't know. There's just it's a product of the parasocial relationship that, like, we forget that, like, that's a person that has other stuff to think about and care about than my entertainment. That's not what they are here on earth for. And so, especially if we trust Tim's word that in the beginning he never was doing this to be famous or to be rich or to whatever, then he's always only just been doing what he wants to do. And I don't think that's changed. TIT. Oh man, don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Jokes. Yeah, do what you want. I like watching for all sorts of reasons. You're not a one-trick pony. Well, thank you. Bunkmaster said, you never professed about all the big things you were going to do, bought buildings and land, and then gave up. At least not yet. You haven't. Well, maybe why would you think that I wouldn't have things that I would try to do and then fail? Am I perfect? Do you think I'm perfect? Are you under the impression that there's going to be things that I'm building that are always going to be perfect? I'm going to fail at a lot of things. That's what happens to people who try stuff. If you haven't failed, you're a loser. Yeah, fair. Just an observation. Fair. Well, he's 100% doing it for the money now. It is trying to get to be fun too. That's all right. Well, I'm not necessarily going to ascribe people's individual internal. I don't know what he's thinking. So whatever way it seems, you certainly don't know what's in his head. He's incredibly endearing. Oh, well, thank you. But every day you get saved. What if I don't? What if I don't? What? How would that change things? Sometimes cutting your losses is the smartest fucking thing to do in business. And you know that. You know you're just trying to be contrarian now. Conte, thank you so very, very much. You have a good one. I care because I give the motherfucker money. So I care because I want to know that if he is just taking my money because he wants to play music, then I wouldn't give him money anymore. But I think the reason behind him creating the music is to show that not all music has to be pop music that's going to go through the machine. And I think that's a a worthy goal, whether or not you become the most famous musician ever. I think that's a silly metric. So then why? How is that any different? How is this any different than people saying, well, Donald Trump filed bankruptcy a bunch of times? Exactly. Exactly. All right, guys. All right. Thank you so very, very much for everybody hanging out. It was a good one. We had some fun. You guys were amazing. Thank you so very, very, very much. And of course, guys, it's not over. We are headed to the after party, so make sure you are a member of the channel. I think one of the mods just dropped the links. There we go. Thank you so much. And again, that is where we are headed. Once again, guys, this here is my co-host Morty, aka the Overlord, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.